What? Thomas? Courtesy. What? Thomas! Thomas!
Hey, odds life, Mr. Fag. Give us your hand, my old fellow servant.
Excuse my glove, Thomas. I'm devilish glad to see you, my lad. My Prince of Charioteers, you look as hearty. But who the deuce thought of seeing you a moth?
Sure, Master, Madam Julia, Harry, Mrs. Kate, and the postilion be all come.
Indeed.
Aye, Master thought another fit of the gout was coming to make him a visit, so he'd a mind to get the slip, and whip we're all off at an hour's warning.
Aye, hasting everything, or it would not be Sir Anthony Absolute.
But tell us, Mr. Fag, how does young Master? Odd, Sir Anthony will stare to see the captain here.
I do not serve Captain Absolute now.
Why, sure.
At present, I am employed by Ensign Beverley.
I doubt, Mr. Fag, you hadn't changed for the better.
I have not changed, Thomas.
No. Why didn't you say you had left young Master?
No. Well, honest, Thomas, I must puzzle you no further. Briefly, then, Captain Absolute and Ensign Beverley are one and the same person.
The devil they are.
So it is indeed, Thomas. And the instant half of my master being on guard at present, the captain has nothing to do with me.
So. What, this is some freak, I warrant. Do tell us, Mr. Fag, the meaning of it. You know I trusted you.
You'll be secret, Thomas?
As a coach horse.
Why then, the cause of all of this is love. Love, Thomas, who, as you may get read to you, has been a masquerader ever since the days of Jupiter.
Aye, I guess there was a lady in the case. But pray, why does your master pass only for ensign? Now, if he had Sam General, indeed.
Ah, Thomas, there lies the mystery of the matter. Hark ye, Thomas. My master is in love with a lady of a very singular taste, a lady who prefers him as a happy ensign than if she knew he was heir and son to Sir Anthony Absolute, a baronet of 3,000 a year.
That is an odd taste indeed. But has she got the stuff, Mr. Fag? Is she rich, hey?
Rich? Why, I believe she owns half stocks. Zoons! Thomas, she could pay the national debt as easily as I could my washerwoman. She has a lapdog that eats out of gold. She feeds her small parrot with small pearls, and all her thread notes are made of bank papers.
Bravo, Faith. Odd. I warrant she has a set of thousands at least. But does she draw kindly with the captain?
As fond as pigeons.
May one hear her name?
Miss Lydia Languish. But there is old Aunt Tough, her way, by the by. She's never seen my master, but we got acquainted with Miss while we were on a visit to Gloucestershire.
Well, I wish they were once harnessed together in matrimony. But pray, Mr. Fag, what kind of place is this Bath? I had heard a deal of it. Here's a mortal merrymaking, eh?
Pretty well, Thomas, pretty well. In the morning, we go to the pump room, though neither my master nor I drink the waters. After breakfast, we saunter on the parades, or play a game of billiards. But damn them. But then at night we dance. But damn the place. I'm tired of it. The regular hours stupefy me. Not a violin nor a card after 11. However, Mr. Falkland's gentleman and I keep it up a little in private parties. I'll introduce you there. You'll like him much, Thomas.
Sure, I know Mr. Dupain. You know his master is to marry Madam Julia.
I had forgotten. But hold, Mark Thomas.
Zooks, 'tis the captain. Is that the lady with him?
No, that is Madam Lucy. She's my master's mistress's maid. They lodge at that house over there. But goodbye, Thomas. I must away with this news.
Odd. He's giving her money. Well, Mr. Fag.
Goodbye, Thomas. I have an appointment in Guy's Porch this evening. Meet me there at 8, and we'll make a little party.
Indeed, ma'am. I traversed half the town in search of it. I don't believe there's a circulating library in Bath that I hadn't been at.
Could you not get the reward of constancy?
No, indeed, ma'am.
Nor the fatal connection?
No, indeed, ma'am.
Nor the mistakes of the heart?
Oh, ma'am, as ill luck would have it, Mr. Bull and Miss Suki Saunter had just fetched it away.
Hi-ho! Did you inquire for the delicate distress?
Or the memoirs of Lady Woodford? Yes, indeed, ma'am. I asked everywhere for it, and I might have brought it for Mr. Fredericks, but Lady Slatter Lounger, who had just sent it home, had so soiled and dog's-eared it, it wa'n't fit for a Christian to read.
Hi-ho! Yes, I always know when Lady Slattern has been before me. She has the most observing thumb, and I believe cherishes her nails for the convenience of making marginal notes. Well, child, what have you brought me?
Oh, here, ma'am. This is the Gordian knot, and this is the peregrine pickle. Here are the tears of sensibility and Humphrey Clinker. This is the memoirs of a lady of quality written by herself, and here the second volume of the Sentimental Journey.
Hi-ho! What are those books by the glass?
The great one is only The Whole Duty of Man, where I press a few blondes, ma'am.
Very well. Give me the sal volatile.
Is it in a blue cover, ma'am?
My smelling bottle, you simpleton!
Oh, the drops. Here, ma'am.
Hold, there's someone coming. Quick, see who it is. Surely I heard my cousin Julia's voice.
Lud, ma'am, here is Miss Melville.
Is it possible? My dearest Julia, how delighted I am. How unexpected is this happiness.
True, Lydia, and our pleasure the greater. But what has been the matter? You were denied me at first.
Julia, I have 1,000 things to tell you. But first, inform me what has conjured you to Bath. Is Sir Anthony here?
Ah, he is. We are arrived within this hour, and I suppose we will be here to wait on Mrs. Malaprop as soon as he is dressed.
Then, before we are interrupted, let me impart to you some of my distress. I know your gentle nature will sympathize with me, though your prudence may condemn me. My letters have informed you of my whole connection with Beverley. But I have lost him, Julia. My aunt has discovered our intercourse by a note she intercepted, and has confined me ever since. Yet would you believe it? She has absolutely fallen in love with a tall Irish baronet she met one night since we have been here, at Lady McShuffle's rout.
Ah, you jest, Lydia.
No, upon my word. She really carries on a kind of correspondence with him, under a feigned name, though, till she chooses to be known to him. But it is Delia or Celia, I assure you.
Ah, then surely she is now more indulgent to her niece.
Quite the contrary. Since she has discovered her own frailty, she's become more suspicious of mine. Then I must inform you of another plague. That odious Acres is to be in Bath today, so that I protest I shall be teased out of all spirits.
Oh, come, Lydia, hope for the best. Sir Anthony shall use his interest with Mrs. Malaprop.
But you have not heard the worst. Unfortunately, I had quarrelled with my poor Beverley just before my aunt made the discovery, and I have not seen him since to make it up.
So, what was his offense?
Nothing at all. I don't know how it was. As often as we had been together, we had never had a quarrel, and somehow I was afraid he would never give me the opportunity. So last Thursday, I wrote a letter to myself to inform myself that Beverley was at that time paying his addresses to another woman. I signed it, Your Friend Unknown, showed it to Beverley, charged him with his falsehood, put myself into a violent passion, and vowed I'd never see him more.
And you let him depart so, and have not seen him since?
'Twas the next day my aunt found the matter out. I intended only to have teased him 3 days and a half. Now I have lost him forever.
He is as deserving and sincere as you have represented him to me. He will never give you up so. Yet consider, Lydia, you tell me he is but an ensign, and you have 30,000 pounds?
But you know I'd lose most of my fortune if I marry without my aunt's consent till of age, and that is what I've determined to do, ever since I knew the penalty. Nor could I love a man who would wish to wait a day for the alternative.
Oh, nay, this is caprice.
What? Does Julia tax me with caprice? I thought her love of Falkland had inured her to it.
I do not love even his faults.
But apropos, you have sent to him, I suppose.
Not yet, upon my word, nor hath he the least idea of me being involved. Sir Anthony's resolution was so sudden I could not inform him of it.
Well, Julia, you are your own mistress, though under the protection of Sir Anthony. Yet have you, for this long year, been a slave to the caprice, the whim, the jealousy of this ungrateful Falkland, who will ever delay assuming the right of a husband, while you suffer him to be equally imperious as a lover?
Nay, you are wrong entirely. We were contracted before my father's death. That and some consequent embarrassments have delayed what I know to be my Falkland's most ardent wish. He is too generous to trifle on such a point. And for his character, you wrong him there too. No, Lydia, he is too proud, too noble to be jealous. If he is captious, 'tis without dissembling. He expects every thought and emotion of his mistress to move in unison with his. Yet, though his pride calls for this full return, his humility makes him undervalue those qualities in him which would entitle him to it. And not feeling why he should be loved to the degree he wishes, he still suspects that he is not loved enough. This temper, I must own, has cost me many unhappy hours. But I have learned to think myself his debtor, and for those imperfections which arise from his ardor of attachment.
Well, I cannot blame you for defending him. But tell me candidly, Julia, had he never saved your life, do you think you should be so attached to him as you are? Believe me, the rude blast that overset your boat was a prosperous gale of love to him.
Gratitude may have strengthened my attachment to Mr. Falkland, but I have loved him before he preserved me. Yet surely that alone were an obligation sufficient.
Obligation? Why, a water spaniel would have done as much. Well, I should never think of giving my heart to a man because he could swim.
Come, Lydia, you are too inconsiderate.
Nay, I do but jest. What's here?
Oh, ma'am, here is Sir Anthony Absolute, just come home with your aunt.
They'll not come here. Lucy, do you watch?
Yet I must go. Sir Anthony does not know I am here, and if we were to meet, he would detain me and show me the town. I'll take another opportunity to pay my respects to Mrs. Malaprop, when she shall treat me as long as she chooses, with her select words so ingeniously misapplied without being mispronounced.
Oh, Lud, ma'am, they are both coming upstairs.
Well, I'll not detain you, coz. Adieu, my dear Julia. I'm sure you are in haste to send to Falkland. There, through my room you'll find another staircase.
Adieu.
Here, my dear Lucy, hide these books. Quick, quick. Fling Peregrine Pickle under the toilet. Throw Roderick Random into the closet. Put the innocent adultery into the whole duty of man. Thrust Lord Amesworth under the sofa. Cram Ovid behind the bolster. There, put the man of feeling into your pocket. So. Now, lay Mrs. Chapone in sight and leave Fordyce's sermon open on the table.
Oh, darn it, ma'am. The hairdresser has torn away as far as proper pride.
Never mind. Open at sobriety. Fling me Lord Chesterfield's letters. Now for 'em.
There, Sir Anthony. There sits the deliberate simpleton who wants to disgrace her family and lavish herself on a fellow not worth a shilling.
Madam, I thought you once...
You thought, miss. I don't know any business you have to think at all. Thought does not become a young woman. But the point we would request of you is that you will promise to forget this fellow, to illiterate him, I say, quite from your memory.
Madam, our memories are independent of our wills. It is not so easy to forget.
But I say it is, miss. There is nothing on earth so easy as to forget if a person chooses to set about it. I am sure I have as much forgot your poor dear uncle as if he has never existed, and I thought it my duty to do so. And let me tell you, Lydia, these violent memories don't become a young woman.
Why, sure she won't pretend to remember what she's ordered not. Aye, this comes from her reading.
What crime, madam, have I committed to be treated thus?
Now don't attempt to extirpate yourself from the matter. You know I have proof controvertible of it. But tell me, will you promise to do as you are bid? Will you take a husband of your friend's choosing?
Madam, I must tell you plainly that had I no preferment for anyone else, the choice you have made would be my aversion.
What business have you, miss, with preference and aversion? They don't become a young woman. And you ought to know that as both always wear off, 'tis safest in matrimony to begin with a little aversion. I am sure I hated your poor dear uncle before marriage as if he'd been a servant. And yet, miss, you are sensible what a wife I made. And when it pleased heaven to release me from him, 'tis unknown what tears I shed. But suppose we were to give you another choice, will you promise to give up this Beverley?
Could I belie my thoughts so far as to give that promise, my actions would certainly as far belie my words.
Take yourself to your room. You are fit company for nothing but your own ill humours.
Willingly, ma'am. I cannot change for the worse.
Oh, there's a little intricate hussy for you.
It is not to be wondered at, ma'am. All this is the natural consequence of teaching girls to read. Had I 1,000 daughters, by heaven, I'd as soon have them taught the black art as their alphabet.
Nay, nay, Sir Anthony, you're an absolute misanthrope.
In my way hither, Mrs. Malaprop, I observed your niece's maid coming forth from a circulating library. She had a book in each hand. They were half-bound volumes with marble covers. And from that moment I guessed how full of duty I should see her mistress.
Those are vile places indeed.
Madam, a circulating library in a town is as an evergreen tree of diabolical knowledge. It blossoms through the year. Depend on it, Mrs. Malaprop, that they who are so fond of handling the leaves will long for the fruit at last.
Fie, fie, Sir Anthony. You surely speak laconically.
Why, Mrs. Malaprop, in her moderation now, what would you have a young woman know?
Observe me, Sir Anthony. I would by no means wish a daughter of mine to be a progeny of learning. I don't think so much learning becomes a young woman. For instance, I would never let her meddle with Greek or Hebrew or algebra or simony or fluxions or paradoxes or such inflammatory branches of learning. Neither would it be necessary for her to handle any of your mathematical, astronomical, diabolical instruments. But above all, Sir Anthony, she should be mistress of orthodoxy, that she might not misspell and mispronounce words so shamefully as gals usually do, and likewise that she might reprehend the true meaning of what she is saying. This, Sir Anthony, is what I would have a woman know, and I don't think there is a superstitious article in it.
Well, Mrs. Malaprop, I will dispute the point no further with you, though I must confess that you are a truly moderate and polite arguer. For almost every third word you say is on my side of the question. Mrs. Malaprop, to the more important point in debate, you say you have no objection to my proposal?
None, I assure you. I am under no positive engagement with Mr. Akers, and as Lydia is so obstinate against him, perhaps your son may have better success.
Well, madam, I will write the boy directly. He knows not a syllable of it this yet, though I have for some time had the proposal in my head. He is at present with his regiment.
We have never seen your son, Sir Anthony, but I hope no objection on his side?
Objection? Oh, let him object if he dare. No, Mrs. Malaprop, Jack knows that the least demur puts me in a frenzy directly. My process has always been very simple. In their younger days, 'twas, Jack, do this. If he demurred, I knocked him down. And if he grumbled at that, I always sent him out of the room.
Aye, and the properest way of my conscience. Nothing is so conciliating to young people as severity. Well, Sir Anthony, I shall give Mr. Akers his discharge and prepare Lydia to receive your son's invocations, and I hope you will represent her to the captain as an object not altogether illegible.
Madam, I will handle the subject prudently. Well, I must leave you, and let me beg you, Mrs. Malaprop, to enforce this matter roundly to the girl. Take my advice. Keep a tight hand. If she rejects this proposal, clap her under lock and key. And if you were just to let the servants forget to bring her dinner for 3 or 4 days, you can't conceive how she'd come about.
Oh, well, at any rate, I shall be glad to get her from under my intuition. She has somehow discovered my partiality for Sir Lucius O'Trigger. Sure, Lucy can't have betrayed me. No, the girl is such a simpleton. I should have made her confess it. Lucy? Lucy! Had she been one of your artificial ones, I should have never trusted her.
Did you call, ma'am?
Yes, girl. Did you see Sir Lucius while you was out?
No, indeed, ma'am. Not a glimpse of him.
You're sure, Lucy, that you never mentioned...
Oh, Gemini! I'd sooner cut my tongue out.
Well, don't let your simplicity be imposed upon.
No, ma'am.
So, come to me presently, and I'll give you another letter to Sir Lucius. But mind, Lucy, if ever you betray what you were entrusted with, unless it be other people's secrets to me, you forfeit my malevolence forever, and your being a simpleton shall be no excuse for your locality.
So, my dear Simplicity, let me give you a little respite. Let girls in my station be as fond as they please of appearing expert and knowing in their trusts. Command me to a mask of silliness and a pair of sharp eyes for my own interest under it. Let me see to what account have I turned my Simplicity lately. For abetting Miss Lydia Languish in a design of running away with an ensign. In money, sundry times £12.12. Gowns, 5. Hats, ruffles, caps, numberless. From the said ensign within the last month, 6 guineas and a half, about a quarter's pay. Item. From Mrs. Malaprop for betraying the young people to her when I found matters were likely to be discovered. 2 guineas and a black paduasoy. Item. From Mr. Akers for carrying divers letters which I never delivered. 2 guineas and a pair of buckles. Item. From Sir Lucius O'Trigger, 3 crowns, 2 gold pocket pieces, and a silver snuff-box. Well done, Simplicity. Yet I was forced to make my Irishman believe that he was corresponding not with the aunt, but with the niece. for though not over-rich, I found he had too much pride and delicacy to sacrifice the feelings of a gentleman to the necessities of his fortune.
Sir, while I was there, Sir Anthony came in. I told him you had sent me to inquire after his health and to know if he was at leisure to see you.
And what did he say on hearing I was at Bath?
Sir, in my life, I never saw an elderly gentleman so astonished. He started back 2 or 3 paces, rapped out a dozen interjectional oaths, and asked what the devil had brought you here.
Well, sir, what did you say?
Oh, I lied, sir. I had forgotten the precise lie, but you may depend on it. He got no truth from me, yet with submission for fear blunders in the future, I should be glad to fix what has brought us to Bath, in order that we may ally little consistently. Sir Anthony's servants were curious, sir. Very curious indeed.
You have said nothing to them.
Oh, no, sir. Not a word. Mr. Thomas, indeed the coachman, whom I take to be the discreetest of whips.
Steph, you rascal! You have not trusted him!
Oh, no, sir. No, not a syllable. For my veracity. He was indeed a little inquisitive, but I was sly, sir. Devilish sly. My master, said I. Honest, Thomas. You know, sir, one says honest to one's inferiors. Income to Bath recruit. Yes, sir, I said to recruit. And whether for men, money, or constitution, you know, sir, in nothing to him, nor anyone else.
Well, recruit will do, let it be so.
Oh, sir, recruit will do surprisingly. Indeed, to give the thing an air, I told Thomas, that your honor had already enlisted 5 disbanded chairmen, 7 minority waiters, and 13 billiard makers.
You blockhead! Never say more than is necessary!
I beg pardon, sir. I beg pardon, but with submission, a lie is nothing unless one supports it. Sir, whenever I draw on my vengeance for a good current lie, I always forge endorsements as well as the bill.
Well, take care you don't hurt your credit by offering too much security. Is Mr. Falkland returned?
He is above, sir, changing his dress.
Can you tell whether he has been informed of Sir Anthony and Miss Melville's arrival?
I fancy not, sir. He has seen no one since he came in but his gentleman, who was with him at Bristol. I think, sir, I hear Mr. Falkland coming down.
Go tell him I'm here.
Yes, sir. I beg pardon, sir. But should Sir Anthony call, will you do me the favor to remember that we are recruiting, if you please?
Yeah, well.
And intended of my character, if your honor could bring in the chairmen and waiters, I should esteem it as an obligation. For though I never scruple a lie to my master, yet it hurts one's conscience to be found out.
Now for my whimsical friend. If he does not know that his mistress is here, I'll tease him a little before I tell him. Falkland, you're welcome to Bath again. You are punctual in your return.
Yes, I had nothing to detain me. When I had finished the business, I went on. Well, what news since I left you? How stand matters between you and Lydia?
Faith, much as they were. I have not seen her since our quarrel. However, I expect to be recalled every hour.
Why don't you persuade her to go off with you at once?
What? And lose 2/3 of her fortune? You forget that, my friend. No. I brought her that too long ago.
Nay, then, you trifle too long if you sure of her. Propose to the aunt in your own character, and write to Sir Anthony for his consent.
Softly, softly, for though I am convinced my little Lydia would elope with me as Ensign Beverley, yet am I by no means certain she would take me with the impediment of our friends' consent, a regular humdrum wedding, and the reversion of a good fortune on my side. No, no, I must prepare her gradually for the discovery, and make myself necessary to her before I risk it. Well, but Falkland, you'll dine with us today at the hotel.
Indeed I cannot. I am not in spirits to be of such a party.
By heavens, I shall forswear your company. You are the most teasing, captious, incorrigible lover. Do love like a man.
I own I am unfit for company.
Am I not a lover, I, and a romantic one too? Yet do I carry everywhere with me such a confounded farrago of doubts, fears, hopes, wishes, and all the flimsy furniture of a country Mrs. Brain.
Ah, Jack, your heart and soul are not like mine, fixed immutably on only one subject. You throw for a large stake, but losing you could stake and throw again. But I have set my sum of happiness on this cast, and not to succeed or to be stripped of all.
But for heaven's sakes, what grounds for apprehension can your whimsical brain conjure up at present?
What grounds for apprehension did you say? Heavens, are there not 1,000? I fear for her spirits, her health, her life. My absence may fret her. Her anxiety for my return, her fears for me may oppress her gentle temper, and for her health. Does not every hour bring me cause to be alarmed? If it rains, some shower may even then have chilled her delicate frame. If the wind be keen, some rude blast may have affected her. The heat of noon, the dews of the evening may endanger the life of her for whom only I value mine. Oh, Jack, when delicate and feeling souls are separated, there's not a feature in this sky, not a movement of the elements, not an aspiration of the breeze, but hence some cause for a lover's apprehension.
Ah, but we may choose whether we take the hint or not. So then, Falkland, if you were convinced that Julia were well and in spirits, you would be entirely content?
I should be happy beyond measure. I am anxious only for that.
Then, to cure your anxiety at once, Miss Melville is in perfect health, and
Nay.
at this moment at Bath.
Nay, Jack, don't trifle with me.
She has arrived here with my father within this hour.
Can you be serious?
I thought you knew Sir Anthony better than to be surprised at a sudden whim of his. Seriously, then, it is as I tell you, upon my honor.
My dear friend. Hello, De Pena, my hat. My dear Jack, now nothing on earth could give me a moment's uneasiness.
Stay, Mr. Falklands, stay. Fag, what do you have to say to us?
Sir, Mr. Akers arrives just below.
Ah, good. Stay, Falklands. This Akers lives within a mile of Sir Anthony, and I shall tell you how your mistress has been ever since you left her. Show Fag up. Fag, show this gentleman up.
What? Is he much acquainted in the family?
Oh, very intimate. I insist on your not going. Besides, his character will divert you.
Well, I should like to ask him a few questions.
He is likewise a rival of mine, that is, of my other selves, for he does not think his friend Captain Absolute ever saw the lady in question, and it is ridiculous enough to hear him complain to me about Beverley, a concealed, skulking rival.
Hush, hush, he's here.
My dear friend, noble captain, and honest Jack, and how dost thou? Just arrived, faith, as you see, sir, your humble servant. Warm work on the roads, Jack. Odds whips and wheels. I travelled like a comet, with a tail of dust all the way along them all.
Ah, Bob, you are indeed an eccentric planet, but we know your attraction hither. Give me leave to introduce Mr. Falkland to you.
Oh,
Falkland,
sir, I am most heartily glad to see you. Sir, I solicit your connections. Hey, Jack, what? This is Mr. Falkland, who...
Bob, Miss Melville's Mr. Falkland.
Odds-o! Well, she and your father can be but just arrived before me. I suppose you have seen them? Mr. Falkland, you are indeed a happy man.
I have not seen Miss Melville yet, sir. I hope she enjoyed full health and spirits in Devonshire.
Oh, I never knew her better in my life. Never better. Odds, blushes, and blooms. She has been as healthy as a German spa.
Indeed. I did hear that she had been a little indisposed.
False, false. Only said to vex you. Quite the reverse, I assure you.
There, Jack. You see, she has the advantage of me. I had almost fretted myself ill.
Now, are you angry with your mistress for not having been sick?
No, you misunderstand me. Yet surely a little trifling indisposition is not an unnatural consequence of absence from those we love. Now confess, isn't there something unkind in this violent, robust, unfeeling health?
Oh, it was very unkind of her to be well in your absence, to be sure.
Good apartments, Jack.
Well, sir, but you were saying that Miss Melville had been so exceedingly well. What then she has been merry and gay and, I suppose, always in spirits, hey?
Merry? Odds crickets. She has been the belle and spirit of the company. Wherever she has been. Oh, so lively and entertaining. Well, so full of wit and humor.
There, Jack. There. Oh, by my soul, there is an innate levity in woman that nothing can overcome. What? Happy, and I away.
Have done. How foolish this is. Just now you were only apprehensive for your mistress's spirits.
Why, Jack, have I been the joy and spirit of the company?
No, indeed, you have not.
Have I been lively and entertaining?
Oh, upon my word, I acquit you.
Have I been full of wit and humor?
No, faith, to do you justice, you have been confoundedly stupid indeed.
What's the matter with the gentleman?
He is only expressing his great satisfaction at hearing that Julia has been so well and happy, that's all. Hey, Falkland?
Oh, I am rejoiced to hear it, yes. Yes, she has a happy disposition.
That she has indeed. Oh, well, then she is so accomplished, so sweet a voice, so expert at her harpsichord, such a mistress of flats and sharp. Squallante, rumblante, and quiverante. Oh, there was a time this month, odds minims and cratchits, how she did chirrup at Mrs. Piano's concert.
There again, what say you to this? You see, she has been all mirth and song, not a thought of me.
Man, is not music the food of love?
Well, it may be so. Pray, Mr. What's his damned name? Do you remember what songs Miss Melville sung?
Not I, indeed.
Nay now, they were some pretty melancholy purling stream airs, I warrant. Perhaps you may recollect, did she sing, "When absent from our soul's delight"?
No, that weren't it.
Or, "Go, gentle gales"?
Oh, no, nothing like it. Odds. Now I recollect one of them, eh? My heart's my own, my will is free.
Fool that I am, to fix all my happiness on such a trifler. Sedat to make herself the pipe and ballad monger of a circle, to soothe her light heart with catches and glees. What can you say to this, sir?
Why, that I should be glad to hear my mistress had been so merry, sir.
Nay, I'm not sorry that she's been happy. No, I am glad of that. I would not have had her sad or sick, yet surely a sympathetic heart would have shown itself even in the choice of a song. She might have been temperately healthy and somehow plaintively gay. But she had been dancing too, I doubt not.
What does the gentleman say about dancing?
He says the lady we speak of dances as well as she sings.
Yes. Oh, what I was going to speak of was her country dancing. Oh, odd swimming. She has such an air with her.
Now, disappointment on her. Defend this, Absolute. Why don't you defend this? Country dances, jigs and reels. Am I to blame now? A minuet I could have forgiven. I should not have minded that. I say I should not have regarded a minuet. But country dances, oh, Jack, there can never be one man in the world whom a truly modest and delicate woman ought to pair within a country dance, and even then the rest of the couple should be her great aunts and uncles.
Oh, to be sure, grandfathers and grandmothers.
If there be one vicious mind in the set, 'twill spread like a contagion. The action of their pulse beats to the lascivious movement of the jig. Their quivering, warm-breathed sighs impregnate the very air. The atmosphere becomes electrical to love, and each amorous spark darts through every link of the chain. I must leave you. I own I'm somewhat flurried, and that confounded Luby has perceived it.
Nay, but stay, Falkland, and thank Mr. Akers for his good news.
Oh, damn his news.
Poor Falkland! 5 minutes since, nothing on earth could give him a moment's uneasiness.
The gentleman wasn't angry about my praising his mistress, was he?
A little jealous, I believe, Bob.
You don't say so. Jealous of me. Oh, that's a good joke.
There's nothing strange in that, Bob. Let me tell you, that sprightly grace and insinuating manner of yours will do some mischief among girls here.
You joke. Mischief. But you know, I am not my own property. My dear Lydia has forestalled me. Oh, she could never abide me in the country because I used to dress so badly. But odds, frogs, and timbers, I shan't take matters so here. Now, ancient madam has no voice in it. I make my old clothes know who's master. I shall straightway cashier the hunting frock and render my leather breeches incapable. Oh, well, my hair has been in training for some time.
Indeed.
Aye, and the offside curls a little restive. My hind part takes it kindly.
You'll polish. I doubt not.
Oh, absolutely. I propose so. Well, then I can find out this Ensign Beverly. Odds triggers and flints. I'll make him know the difference of...
Spoke like a man, but pray, Bob, I observe you've got a kind of odd new method of swearing.
You've taken notice of it. 'Tis genteel, isn't it? I mean, I didn't invent it myself, though. But a commander in our militia, a great scholar, I assure you, says there's no meaning in the common oaths, and that nothing but their antiquity makes them respectable. Because, he says, the ancients would never stick to an oath or two, but would say, by Jove, or by Bacchus, or by Mars, or by Venus, or by Pallas, according to the sentiment. So that to swear with propriety, says my little major, the oath should be an echo to the sense. Well, this we call oath referential or sentimental swearing. 'Tis genteel, isn't it?
Oh, very genteel, and very new indeed, and I dare say will supplant all other figures of imprecation.
Aye, the best terms will grow obsolete. Dams have had their day.
Sir, there is a gentleman below desires to see you. Shall I show him into the parlor?
You may.
Well, I must be gone.
Hey, who is it, Fag?
Your father, sir.
You puppy! Why didn't you show him up directly?
You have business with Sir Anthony? I mean, I expect a message from Miss Malaprop at my lodgings. I have sent also to my dear friend, Sir Lucius O'Trigger. Adieu, Jack. We must meet at night, when you shall give me 12 bumpers to little Lydia.
That I will with all my heart. Now for a parental lecture. I hope he has heard nothing of the business that brought me here. Wish the gout had held him fast in Devonshire with all my soul. Ah, I'm delighted to see you here looking so well. Your sudden arrival at Bath made me apprehensive for your health.
Well, very apprehensive, I dare say, Jack. What? Are you recruiting here? Eh?
Yes, I am on duty.
Well, Jack, I am glad to see you, though I did not expect it, for I was going to write to you on a little matter of business. Jack, I have been considering that I grow old and infirm, and shall probably not trouble you long.
Pardon me, sir. I never saw you look more strong and hearty. I pray frequently that you may continue so.
I hope your prayers may be heard with all my heart. Well then, Jack, I have been considering that I am so strong and hearty I may continue to plague you a long time. Now, Jack, I am sensible that the income of your commission, and what I have hitherto allowed you, is but of small pittance for a lad of your spirit.
Sir, you're very good.
And it is my wish, while yet I live, to have my boy make some figure in the world. I have resolved, therefore, to fix you at once in a noble independence.
Sir, your kindness overpowers me. Such generosity makes the gratitude of reason more lively than the sensations even of filial affection.
Well, I'm glad you are so sensible of my attention. And you shall be master of a large estate in a few weeks.
Let my future life, sir, speak my gratitude. I cannot express the sense I have of your munificence. Yet, sir, I presume you would not wish me to quit the army.
Oh, that shall be as your wife chooses.
My wife, sir?
I settled that between you. Settled that between you.
A wife, sir, did you say?
Aye, a wife. Why, did I not mention her before?
Not a word of her, sir.
Odds so. I mustn't forget her, though. Yes, Jack, the independence I was talking of is by marriage. The fortune is saddled with the wife. But I suppose that makes no difference.
Sir, you amaze me.
Why, what the devil's the matter with the fool? Just now you were all gratitude and duty.
I was, sir. You talked to me of independence and a fortune, but not a word of a wife.
Why, what difference does that make? Odds life, sir, if you have the estate, you must take it with the livestock on it, as it stands.
If my happiness is to be the price, I must beg leave to decline the purchase. Pray, sir, who is the lady?
Oh, what's that to you, sir? Come, give me your promise to love and to marry her directly.
Sure, sir, this is not very reasonable, to summon my affections for a lady I know nothing of.
Why, I'm sure, sir, it is more unreasonable of you to object to a lady you know nothing of.
Then, sir, I must tell you plainly that my inclinations are fixed on another. My heart is engaged to an angel.
Then pray let it send an excuse. It is very sorry, but the business prevents its waiting on her.
But my vows are pledged to her.
Let her foreclose, Jack. Let her foreclose. They are not worth redeeming. And besides, you have the angel's vows in exchange, I suppose, so there can be no loss there.
Oh, you must excuse me, sir, if I tell you once for all that in this point I cannot obey you.
Harkye, Jack. I have heard for you some time with patience, I have been cool, quite cool. But take care. You know I am compliance itself, when I have not been thwarted. No one more easily led, when I have my own way. But don't put me in a frenzy.
Sir, I must repeat it. In this I cannot obey you.
Now damn me if ever I call you Jack again while I live!
Nay, sir, but hear me.
Sir, I won't hear a word, not a word, not a word. So give me your promise by a nod, and I'll tell you what, Jack. I mean, you dog, if you don't, by heaven,
Promise to link myself to some mass of ugliness, to give up my freedom.
Sarah! The lady shall be as ugly as I choose. She shall have a hump on each shoulder. She shall be as crooked as the crescent. Her one eye shall roll like the bulls in Cox's museum. She shall have a skin like a mummy. She shall be all this, sirrah. Yet I will make you ogle her all day and sit up all night to write sonnets on her beauty.
This is reason and moderation indeed.
None of your sneering puppy, none of your grinning jackanapes.
Indeed, sir, I never was in a worse humour for mirth in my life.
'Tis false, sir. I know you are laughing in your sleeve. I know you'll grin when I'm gone, sirrah.
Sir, I hope I know my duty better.
None of your passion, sir. None of your violence, if you please. It won't do with me, I promise you.
Indeed, sir, I was never cooler in my life.
'Tis a confounded lie. I know you are in a passion in your heart. I know you are, you hypocritical young dog, but it won't do.
Nay, sir, upon my word,
So
you have...
will fly out. Can't you be cool like me? What the devil can passion do? Passion is of no service, you impudent, insolent, overbearing reprobate. There, you're sneering again. Don't provoke me. But you rely upon my mildness of my temper. You do, you dog. You play upon the meekness of my disposition. Yet take care. The patience of a saint may be overcome at last. But mark, I give you 6 hours and a half to consider of this. If you agree, without any condition, to do everything on earth that I choose, why, confound you, I may in time forgive you. If not, zoons! Don't enter in the same hemisphere with me. Don't dare to breathe the same air or use the same light with me. But get you an atmosphere and a sun of your own. I'll strip you of your commission. I'll lodge a 5 and 3pence in the hands of trustees, and you shall live on the interest. I'll disown you. I'll disinherit you. I'll unget you. And damn me if ever I call you Jack again.
Mild, gentle, considerate father. Ah, I wonder what old wealthy hag it is that he wants to bestow on me.
So, I shall have another rival to add to my mistress's list. Captain Absolute. However, I shall not enter his name till my purse has received notice in form. Poor Acres is dismissed. Well, I have done him a last friendly office in letting him know that Beverly was here before him. Sir Lucius is generally more punctual when he expects to hear from his dear Delia, as he calls her. I wonder he's not here. I have a little scruple of conscience from this deceit, though I should not be paid so well if my hero knew that Delia was near 50, and her own mistress.
Ah, my little ambassadress. Upon my conscience, I've been looking for you. I've been on the South Parade this half hour.
Oh, Gemini, and I've been waiting for your worship here on the north.
Faith, that must be the reason we did not meet. It is very comical, too, for how you could go out and I not see you. For I was only taking a nap at the Parade Coffee House, and I chose the window on purpose that I might not miss you.
Oh, my stars. Now I'd wager a 6pence I went by while you were asleep.
Sure enough, it must have been so. And I never dreamt it was so late until I waked. Well, but, my little girl, have you got nothing for me?
Yes, but I have. I've got a letter for you in my pocket.
Oh, Faith, I guessed you weren't come empty-handed. Well, let me see what the dear creature says.
There, Sir Lucius.
Sir, there is often a sudden incentive impulse in love that has a greater induction than years of domestic combination. Such was the commotion I felt at the first superfluous view of Sir Lucius O'Trigger. Very pretty, upon my word. Female punctuation forbids me to say more, yet let me add that it will give me joy infallible to find Sir Lucius worthy the last criterion of my affections. Delia. Upon my conscience, Lucy, your lady, is a great mistress of language. Faith, she's quite the queen of the dictionary. For the devil a word dare refuse come in at her call. Oh, one would think it was quite out of hearing.
Aye, sir, a lady of her experience?
Experience? What, at 17?
Oh, true, sir. But then she reads so. My stars, how she will read offhand.
Faith, she must be very deep read to write this way. Though she is rather an arbitrary writer, too, for here are a great many poor words pressed into service of this note that would get their habeas corpus from any court in Christendom.
Ah, Sir Lucius, if you were to hear how she talks of you.
Oh, tell her I'll make her the best husband in the world, and Lady O'Trigger into the bargain. But we must get the old gentlewoman's consent and do everything fairly.
Nay, Sir Lucius, I thought you weren't rich enough to be so nice.
Upon my word, young woman, you have hit it. I am so poor that I can't afford to do a dirty action. If I did not want money, I'd steal your mistress and her fortune with a great deal of pleasure. However, my pretty girl, here's a little something to buy yourself a ribbon, and meet me in the evening, and I'll give you an answer to this. So, hussy, take a kiss beforehand to put you in mind.
Oh, Lud, Sir Lucius, I never seed such a gentleman. My lady won't like you if you're so impudent.
Yes, she will, Lucy. That same, what's the name of it? Modesty is a quality in a lover more praised by the women than liked. So, if your mistress ever asks you whether Sir Lucius ever gave you a kiss, tell her 50, my dear.
What? Would you have me tell her a lie?
No, then you baggage, I'll make it a truth presently.
For shame now. Here is someone coming.
Ah, Faith, I'll quiet your conscience.
So, Mum, I humbly beg pardon.
Oh, Lud. Now, Mr. Fagg, you flurry one so.
Come, Lucy. Here's no one by. With a little less simplicity, with a greater or two more sincerity. If you please, you place force with us, madame. I saw you give the baronet a letter. My master shall know this, and if he don't call him out, I will.
You gentlemen's gentlemen are so hasty. That letter was for Mrs. Malaprop, simpleton. She is taken with Sir Lucius's address.
How? What taste some people have. Why, I suppose I have walked by her window 100 times. Oh, what's in that young lady? Any messages to my master?
Sad news. Mr. Fagg, a worse rival than Acres. Sir Anthony Absolute has proposed his son.
What? Captain Absolute?
Even so, I overheard it all.
Very good, Faith. Goodbye, Lucy. I must away with this news.
Well, you may laugh, but it is true, I assure you. But, Mr. Fagg, tell your master not to be so cast down by this.
Oh, he'll be so disconsolate.
And charge him not to think of quarreling with young Absolute.
Never fear. Never fear.
Be sure. Bid him keep up his spirits.
We will. We will.
"'Tis just as Fagg told me indeed. Whimsical enough, faith. My father wants to force me to marry the very girl I am plotting to run away with. He must not know of my connection with her yet awhile. He has too summary a method of proceeding in these matters. However, I'll read my recantation instantly. My conversion is something sudden indeed, but I shall assure him it is very sincere. So, here he comes. He looks plaguey gruff."
No, I'll die sooner than forgive him. Die, did I say? I'll live these 50 years to plague him. At our last meeting, his impudence had almost put me out of temper. An obstinate, passionate, self-willed boy. Who can he take after? This is my return for getting him before all his brothers and sisters, for putting him at 12 years old into a marching regiment and allowing him £50 a year besides his pay ever since. But I've done with him. He's anybody's son for me. I never will see him more. Never, never, never.
Now for a penitential face.
Fellow, get out of my way.
Sir, you see a penitent before you.
I see an impudent scoundrel before me.
A sincere penitent. I am come, sir, to acknowledge my error and to submit entirely to your will.
What's that?
I have been revolving and reflecting and considering on your past goodness and kindness and condescension to me.
Well, sir?
I have been likewise weighing and balancing what you were pleased to mention concerning duty and obedience and authority.
Well, puppy?
Well, then, sir, the result of my reflections is a resolution to sacrifice every inclination of my own to your satisfaction.
Why, now you talk sense. Absolute sense. I never heard anything more sensible in my life. Confound you! You shall be Jack again.
I am happy in the appellation.
Why then, Jack, my dear Jack, I will now inform you who the lady really is. Nothing but your passion and violence, you silly fellow, prevented me from telling you at first. Prepare, Jack, for wonder and rapture. Prepare. What think you of Miss Lydia Languish?
Languish. What? Oh, the languishes of Worcestershire.
Worcestershire? No! Did you never meet Mrs. Malaprop and her niece, Miss Languish, who came into our country just before you were last ordered to your regiment?
Malaprop, Languish. I don't remember ever to have heard the names before. Oh, yet stay. I think I do recollect something. Languish, Languish. She squints, don't she? A little red-haired girl.
Squints? A red-haired girl? Zoons, no!
Then I must have forgot it. It can't be the same person.
Jack, what think you of blooming, love-breathing 17?
As to that, sir, I'm quite indifferent. If I can please you in the matter, 'tis all I desire.
Nay, but Jack's such eyes, so innocently wild, so bashfully irresolute, not a glance but speaks and kindles some thought of love. Then, Jack, her cheeks, Jack, so deeply blushing at the insinuations of her telltale eyes. And Jack, her lips, oh, Jack, lips smiling at their own discretion, and if not smiling, more sweetly pouting, more lovely in sullenness. Then Jack, her neck, oh, Jack, Jack.
And which is to be mine, sir? Which is to be mine, the niece or the aunt?
Why, you unfeeling, insensible puppy! I despise you! When I was your age, such a description would have made me fly like a rocket. The aunt, indeed. Odds life, when I ran away with your mother, I would not have touched anything old or ugly to gain an empire.
Not to please your father, sir.
To please my father? Zoons! Not to please? Oh, my father, odds so. Yes, yes. If my father indeed had desired, that's quite another matter, though he wasn't the indulgent father that I am, Jack.
I dare say not, sir.
But, Jack, you are not sorry.
If I please you in this affair, 'tis all I desire. Not that I think a woman the worse for being handsome, but, sir, if you please to recollect, you before hinted something about a hump, or two, one eye, and a few more graces of that kind. Now, without being very nice, I own I should rather choose a wife of mine to have the usual number of limbs and a limited quantity of back. The one eye might be very agreeable, yet as the prejudice has always run in favour of two, I would not wish to affect a singularity in that article.
What a phlegmatic sot it is! Why, sirrah, you're an anchorite, a vile and insensible stock. You a soldier? You're a walking block, fit only to dust the company's regiments on. Odds life! I have a great mind to marry the girl myself.
I am entirely at your disposal, sir. If you should think of addressing Miss Languish yourself, I suppose you would have me marry the aunt, and if you change your mind and take the old lady, 'tis the same to me. I'll marry the niece.
Upon my word, Jack, thou art either a very great hypocrite, or... But come, I know you are indifferent on such a subject. Must be all a lie. I'm sure it is. Must come. Now come, your demure face. Come, confess, Jack. You've been lying, hadn't you? You've been playing the hypocrite, eh? I'll never forgive you if you hadn't been lying and playing the hypocrite.
I'm sorry, sir, that the respect and duty which I bear to you should be so mistaken.
Hang your respect and duty! But come along with me. I'll write a note to Mrs. Malaprop, and you shall visit the lady directly. Her eyes shall be the Promethean torch to you. Come along. I'll never forgive you if you don't come back stark mad with rapture and impatience. If you don't, egad, I'll marry the girl myself.
They told me Julia would return directly. I wonder she has not come. I mean, how mean does this captious, unsatisfied temper of mine appear to my cooler judgment? Yet I know not that I indulge it in any other point, but on this one subject, and to this one subject whom I think I love beyond my life. I'm ever ungenerously fretful and madly capricious. I am conscious of it, yet I cannot correct myself. What tender, honest joy sparkled in her eyes when we met. How delicate was the warmth of her expression. I was ashamed to appear less happy, though I had come resolved to wear a face of coolness and upbraiding. Sir Anthony's presence prevented my proposed expostulations, yet I must be satisfied that she has not been so very happy in my absence. She is coming. Yes, I know the nimbleness of her tread when she thinks her impatient Falkland counts the moments of her stay.
I had not hoped to see you again so soon.
Could I, Julia, be contented with my first welcome, restrained as we were by the presence of a third person?
Oh, Falkland, when your kindness can make me thus happy, let me not think that I discovered something of coldness in your first salutation.
'Twas but your fancy, Julia. I was rejoiced to see you in such health. Sure I had no cause for coldness?
Nay, then I see you have taken something ill. You must not conceal from me what it is.
Well then, shall I own to you that my joy at hearing of your health and arrival here by your neighbor Acres was somewhat damped by his dwelling much on the high spirits you had enjoyed in Devonshire. Oh, on your mirth, your singing, dancing, I know not what. For such is my temper, Julia, that I should regard on every mirthful moment in your absence as treason to constancy.
Can the idle reports of a silly boy weigh in your breast against my tried affection?
They have no weight with me, Julia. No, I am happy if you have been so. Yet only say that you did not sing with mirth. Say that you thought of Falkland in the dance.
I never can be happy in your absence. If I were a continent of content, it is to show that my mind holds no doubt of my Falkland's truth. I have often dressed sorrow in smiles, lest my friends should guess whose unkindness has caused me tears.
You were ever all goodness to me. Oh, I am a brute, when I but admit a doubt of your true constancy. Sure, search your heart, Julia. Perhaps what you have mistaken for love is but the warm effusion of a too thankful heart.
For what quality must I love you?
For no quality. To regard me of any quality of mind or understanding were only to esteem me. And for person not, I have often wished myself deformed, to be convinced that I owed no obligation there for any part of your affection.
Where nature has bestowed a show of nice attention in the features of a man, he should laugh at it as misplaced. I have seen men who in the vain article, perhaps, might rank above you, but my heart has never asked my eyes if it were so or not.
Now, this is not well from you, Julia.
I see you are determined to be unkind. This contract which my whole father bound us and gives you more than a lover's privilege.
Again, Julia, you raise ideas that feed and justify my doubts. I would not have been more free. No, I am proud of my restraint. Yet perhaps your high respect alone for this solemn compact has fettered your inclinations, which else has made a worthier choice. How should I be sure that you remained unbound in thought and promise that I should still have been the object of your persevering love?
Then try me now. Let us be free as strangers as to what is past. My heart will not feel more liberty.
There now, so hasty, Julia, so anxious to be free. If your love for me were fixed and ardent, you would not lose your hold, even though I wished it.
I know not whither your insinuations would tend, but as they seem pressing to insult me, I will spare you the regret of having done so. I've given you no cause for this.
Captain Absolute! Your being Sir Anthony's son, Captain, would itself be a sufficient accommodation, but from the ingenuity of your appearance, I am convinced you deserve the character here given of you.
Permit me to say, madam, that I have, as I have never yet had the pleasure of seeing Miss Languish, my principal inducement in this affair is the present honour of being allied to Mrs. Malaprop, of whose intellectual accomplishments, elegant manners, and unaffected learning no tongue is silent.
Oh, sir, you do me infinite honour. I beg, Captain, you'll be seated. Few gentlemen nowadays know how to value the ineffectual qualities in a woman. Few think how a little knowledge becomes a gentlewoman. Men have no sense now but for the worthless flower of beauty.
It is but too true indeed, ma'am. Yet I fear our ladies should share the blame. They think our admiration of beauty so great that knowledge in them would be superfluous. Thus, like garden trees, they seldom show it. They seldom show fruit, till time has robbed them of the more specious blossom. Few, like Mrs. Malaprop, and the orange tree are rich in both at once.
Sir, you overpower me with good breeding. He is the very pineapple of politeness. You are not ignorant, Captain, that this giddy girl has somehow contrived to fix her affections on a beggarly, strolling, eavesdropping ensign, whom none of us have seen and nobody knows anything of.
Oh, I have heard the silly affair before. I'm not at all prejudiced against her on that account.
You are very good and very considerate, Captain. I am sure I have done everything in my power since I exploded the affair. Long ago I laid my positive conjunctions on her, never to think on the fellow again. I have since laid Sir Anthony's preposition before her, but I am sorry to say she seems resolved to decline every particle that I enjoin her.
It must be very distressing indeed, ma'am.
Oh, it gives me the hydrostatics to such a degree. I thought she had persisted from corresponding with him, but behold, this very day I have interceded another letter from the fellow. I believe I have it in my pocket.
Oh, the devil! My last note! Oh, the little traitress, Lucy!
Ah, there! Perhaps you may know the writing.
I think I've seen the hand before. Yes, I certainly must have seen this hand before.
Nay, but read it, Captain.
My soul's idol, my adored Lydia. Very tender indeed.
Oh, tender, aye, and profane too, on my conscience.
I am excessively alarmed at the intelligence you send me, the more so as my new rival
That's you, sir.
has universally the character of being an accomplished gentleman and a man of honor. Well, that's handsome enough.
Oh, the fellow has some design in writing so.
That he had. I'll answer for him, ma'am.
But go on, sir, you will see presently.
As for the weather-beaten she-dragon who guards you, who can he mean by that?
Me, sir! He means me! There, what do you think now? But go on a little further.
Impudent scoundrel! It shall go hard, but I will elude her vigilance, as I am told the same ridiculous vanity which makes her dress up her coarse features and deck her dull chat with hard words which she don't understand.
There, sir, an attack upon my language. What do you think of that? An aspersion on my parts of speech. Was ever such a brute? Sure, if I reprehend anything in this world, it is the use of my oracular tongue and a nice derangement of epithets.
He deserves to be hanged and quartered. Let me see. Same ridiculous vanity.
You need not read it again, sir.
I beg pardon, ma'am. Does also lay her open to the grossest deceptions from flattery and pretended admiration. An impudent coxcomb. So that I have a scheme to see you shortly with the old harridan's consent, and even make her a go-between in our interview. Was ever such assurance?
Did you ever hear anything like it? He'll elude my vigilance, will he? Yes, he's very likely to enter these doors. We'll try who can plot best.
So we will, ma'am, so we will. A conceited puppy. Well, but Mrs. Malaprop, as the girl seems so infatuated by this fellow, suppose you were to wink at her corresponding with him for a little time. Let her even plot an elopement with him. Then do you connive at her escape, while I, just in the nick, will have the fellow laid by the heels and fairly contrive to carry her off in his stead.
Oh, I'm delighted with the scheme. Never was anything better perpetrated.
But pray, could I not see the lady for a few minutes now? I should like to try her temper a little.
Why, I don't know. I doubt she is not prepared for a visit of this kind. There is a decorum in these matters.
Oh, Lord, she won't mind me. Only tell her Beverly.
Sir? What did you say of Beverly?
I was going to propose that you should tell her, by way of jest, that it was Beverly who was below. She'd come down fast enough then.
Oh, 'twould be a trick she well deserves. Besides, you know the fellow tells her he'll get my consent to see her. Let him if he can. I say again, Lydia, come down here. He'll make me a go-between in their interviews. Come down, I say, Lydia. I don't wonder at your laughing. This impudence is truly ridiculous.
It's very ridiculous, upon my soul, ma'am.
Oh, the little hussy won't hear. Well, I'll go and tell her at once who it is. She shall know that Captain Absolute is come to wait on her, and I'll make her behave as becomes a young woman.
As you please, ma'am.
For the present, Captain, your servant. You've not done laughing yet, I see. Yes, elude my vigilance, yes.
One would think now that I might throw off all disguise at once and seize my prize with security. But such is Lydia's caprice that to undeceive were probably to lose her. I'll see whether she knows me.
What a scene am I now to go through? Surely nothing can be more dreadful than to be obliged to listen to the loathsome addresses of a stranger to one's heart. I have heard of girls, persecuted as I am, who have appealed in behalf of their favoured lover to the generosity of his rival. Suppose I were to try it. There stands the hated rival. An officer, too. But oh, how unlike my Beverly. I wonder he don't begin. Truly he seems a very negligent wooer, quite at ease, upon my word. I'll speak first. Mr. Absolute.
Ma'am.
Oh, heavens! Beverly!
Hush, hush, my life, softly. Be not surprised.
I am so astonished, and so terrified, and so overjoyed. For heaven's sake, how came you here?
Briefly, I have deceived your aunt. I was informed by my new rival that he was to visit here this evening, and contriving to have him kept away, have passed myself on her for Captain Absolute.
Charming. And she really takes you for young Absolute.
Oh, she's convinced of it.
I can't forbear laughing to think how her sagacity is overreached.
But we trifle with our precious moments. Such another opportunity might not occur. Then let me conjure my kind, my condescending angel, to fix the time when I may rescue her from undeserving persecution, and with a licensed warmth plead for my reward.
Will you then, Beverly, consent to forfeit that portion of my paltry wealth, that burden on the wings of love?
Oh, come to me, rich only thus in loveliness. Bring no portion to me but thy love. 'Twill be generous in you, Lydia, for well you know it is the only dower your poor Beverly can repay.
How persuasive are his words! How charming will poverty be with him!
Ah, my soul, what a life we will then live! Love shall be our idol and support. We will worship him with a monastic strictness, abjuring all worldly toys to centre every thought and action there. Proud of calamity, we will enjoy the wreck of wealth, while the surrounding gloom of adversity shall make the flame of our pure love doubly bright show. By heavens, I would fling all goods of fortune from me with a prodigal hand to enjoy the scene where I might clasp my Lydia to my bosom and say, the world affords no smile to me but here. If she holds out now, the devil is in it.
Now could I fly with him to the Antipodes, but my persecution has not yet come to a crisis.
I am impatient to know how the little hussy deports herself.
So pensive, Lydia. Is then your warmth abated?
Warmth abated? Oh, so she's been in a passion then, I suppose.
No, nor ever can while I have life.
An ill-tempered little devil. She'll be in a passion all her life, will she?
Think not the idle threats of my ridiculous aunt can ever have any weight with me.
Oh, very dutiful, upon my word.
Let her choice be Captain Absolute, but Beverly is mine.
Oh, I am astonished at her assurance. To his face, this is to his face.
Thus, then, let me enforce my suit.
Ay, poor young man, down on his knees entreating for pity. I can contain no longer. Why, thou vixen, I have overheard you.
Oh, confound her vigilance!
Captain Absolute, I know not how to apologize for her shocking rudeness.
So all safe, I find. I have hopes, madam, that time will bring the young lady to...
No, there's nothing to be hoped for from her. She's as headstrong as an allegory on the banks of Nile.
Nay, madam, what do you charge me with now?
Why, thou unblushing rebel, didn't you tell this gentleman to his face that you loved another better? Didn't you say you never would be his?
No, madam, I did not.
Oh, good heavens, what assurance! Lydia, you ought to know that lying don't become a young woman. Didn't you boast that Beverly, that stroller Beverly, possessed your heart? Tell me that, I say.
'Tis true, ma'am, and none but Beverly.
Hold, assurance! You shall not be so rude.
Nay, pray, Mrs. Malaprop, don't stop the young lady's speech. She's very welcome to talk thus. It does not hurt me in the least, I assure you.
You are too good, Captain, too amiably patient. But come with me, miss. Let us see you again soon, Captain. Remember what we have fixed.
I shall, ma'am.
Come, take a graceful leave of the gentleman.
May every blessing wait on my Beverly, my loved Beverly.
Hussy, I'll choke the word in your throat. Come along, come along.
Ah, indeed, David. Do you think I become it so?
You are quite another creature, believe me, master, by the mass.
Dress does make a difference, David.
Oh, 'tis all in all, I think, difference. Why, and you were to go now to Club Hall, I am certain the old lady wouldn't know you. Master Butler wouldn't believe his own eyes, and Mrs. Pickle would cry, Lord preserve me! Our dairymaid would come giggling to the door, and I warrant Dolly Tester, your honour's favourite, would blush like my waistcoat. Oons, I'll hold a gallon there ain't a dog in house that would bark, and I question whether Phyllis would wag a hair of her tail.
Aye, David, there's nothing like polishing.
So I says of your honour's boots, but the boy never heeds me.
But David, has Mr. Telegraph's been here? I must rub up my balancing and chasing and boring.
I'll call again, sir.
Do, and see if there are any letters for me at the post office.
I will. By the mass, I can't help but looking at your head. If I hadn't been by at the cooking, I wish I may die if I should have known the dish again myself.
Oh. Sink. Slide. Coupe! Oh, confound the first inventors of cotillions, say I. They are as bad as algebra to us country gentlemen. I can walk a good minuet easy enough when I am forced, and I have been accounted a good stick in a country dance. Odds, jigs and tapers. I never valued your crossover to couple, your figure in right and left, but I'd foot it with e'er a captain in the county. Oh, but these outlandish heathen alamans and cotillions are quite beyond me. I shall never prosper at 'em, that's sure. Mine are true-born English legs. They don't understand that cursed French lingo. They're pa this and pa that and pa the other. Damn me. My feet don't like to be called paws. Oh, 'tis certain. I have the most anti-Gallican toes.
Here is Sir Lucius O'Trigger to wait on you, sir.
Show him in.
Mr. Akers, I'm delighted to embrace you.
My dear Sir Lucius, I kiss your hands.
Pray, my friend, what has brought you so suddenly to Bath?
Faith, I have followed Cupid's jack-o'-lantern, and find myself in a quagmire at last. Oh, in short, I have been very ill-used, Sir Lucius. I don't tend to mention names, but look on me as a very ill-used gentleman.
Pray, what is the case? I ask no names.
Well, mark me, Sir Lucius, I fall as deep as need be in love with a young lady. Her friends take my part. I follow her to Bath, send word of my arrival, and receive answer that the lady is to be otherwise disposed of. Oh, but this, Sir Lucius, I call being ill-used.
Very ill, upon my conscience. Pray, can you divine the cause of it?
Why, there's the matter. She has another lover, one Beverley, who I am told is now in Bath. Odd slanders and lies. He must be at the bottom of it.
A rival in the case, is there? And you think he has supplanted you unfairly?
Well, unfairly? To be sure he has. He never could have done it fairly.
Then sure, you know what is to be done.
Not I. Upon my soul.
We wear no swords here, but you understand me.
What? Fight him?
Aye, to be sure. What can I mean else?
But he has given me no provocation.
No, I think he has given you the greatest provocation in the world. Can a man commit a more heinous offence against another than to fall in love with the same woman? By my soul, it is the most unpardonable breach of friendship.
Well, breach of friendship. But I have no acquaintance with this man. I mean, I never saw him in my life.
That's no argument at all. He has the less right then to take such a liberty.
Gad, that's true. I grow full of anger. Sir Lucius. I fire apace. Odds, hilts, and blades. Well, I find a man may have a deal of valor in him and not know it. But couldn't I contrive to have a little right on my side?
The devil signifies right when your honour is concerned. Do you think Achilles or my little Alexander the Great ever inquired where the right lay? No, by my soul, they drew their broadswords and left the lazy sons of peace to settle the justice of it.
Oh, your words are a grenadier's march to my heart. I believe courage must be catching. I certainly do feel a kind of valor rising, as it were, a kind of courage, as I may say. Odds flints, pads, and triggers. Oh, I'll challenge him directly.
What? My little friend, if I had Blunderbuss Hall here, I could show you a range of ancestry in the old trigger line that would furnish the new room, every one of whom had killed his man. For though the mansion house and the dirty acres have slipped through my fingers, I thank heaven our honour and the family pictures are as fresh as ever.
Oh, Sir Lucius, I have had ancestors too. Every man of them, colonel, captain in the militia, odds, balls and barrels, say no more. I'm braced for it. The thunder of your words has soured the milk of human kindness in my breast. Swoons, as the man in the play says, I could do such deeds.
Come. There must be no passion at all in the case. These things should always be done civilly.
Well, I must be in a passion. Sir Lucius, I must be in a rage. Oh, dear Sir Lucius, well, let me be in a rage. I mean, if you love me. But come. Well, here's pen and pencil and paper. Ah, yes. I would the ink were red. Indict, I say. Indict. How shall I begin? Odds, bullets and blades. I'll write a good bold hand, however.
Pray, compose yourself.
Well, come. Shall I begin with an oath? Do, Sir Lucius, let me begin with a damn.
Do the thing decently and like a Christian. Begin now. Sir.
That's too civil by half.
To prevent the confusion that might arise.
Well?
From our both addressing the same lady.
Aye, there's the reason. Same lady. Well.
I shall expect the honor of your company.
What? Zoons, I'm not asking him to dinner.
Pray, be easy.
Well then, honor of your company.
To settle our pretensions.
Well?
The Kingsmead Fields will do. In Kingsmead Fields.
So that's done. Well, I'll fold it up presently. My own crest. A hand and dagger shall be my seal.
You see now, this little explanation will put a stop at once to any confusion or misunderstanding that might arise between you.
Aye, we fight to prevent any misunderstanding.
Now, I'll leave you to fix your own time. Take my advice, and you'll decide it this evening if you can. Then let the worst come of it. 'Twill be off your mind tomorrow.
Very true.
So, I shall see nothing of you, unless it be by letter, till the evening. I would do myself the honor to carry your message, but to tell you a secret, I believe I may have just such another affair on my own hands. There's a gay captain here who put a jest on me lately at the expense of my country, and I only want to fall in with the gentleman to call him out.
Well, by my valor, I should like to see you fight first. Odds life, I should like to see you kill him, if only to get a little lesson.
I should be very proud of instructing you. Well, for the present, but remember now, when you meet your antagonist, do everything in a mild and agreeable manner. Let your courage be as keen, but at the same time as polished, as your sword.
Then by the mass, sir, I would do no such thing. Nearer Sir Lucius O'Trigger in the kingdom should make me fight when I wasn't so minded. Oons, what will the old lady say when she hears of it?
David, if you had heard Sir Lucius, on sparks and flames, he would have roused your valor.
Not he, indeed. I hate such bloodthirsty cormorants. Lookye, master, if you wanted to bout at boxing quarter-staff or short-staff, I should never be the man to bid you cry off. But for your cursed sharps and snaps, I never knew any could come of 'em.
By my honor, David, my honor. I must be very careful of my honor.
Aye, by the mass, and I would be very careful of it. And I think in return my honor couldn't do less than to be very careful of me.
Odds blades, David, no gentleman will ever risk the loss of his honor.
I say then, it would be but civil and honor never to risk the loss of a gentleman. Lookye, master, this honor seems to me to be a marvellous false friend. I, a truly very courtier-like servant. Put the case I was a gentleman, which, thank God, no one can say of me. Well, my honor makes me quarrel with another gentleman of my acquaintance. So, we fight. Pleasant enough, that. Oh, I kill him. There's more my luck. Now, pray, who gets the profit of it? Why, my honor. But put the case that he kills me. By the mass, I go to the worms, and my honor whips over to my enemy.
No, David. In that case, odds, crowns, and laurels, your honor follows you to the grave.
Now, that's just the place where I could make a shift to do without it.
Soons, David, you are a coward. Well, it doesn't become my valor to listen to you. What? Shall I disgrace my ancestors? Oh, think of that, David. Think what it would be to disgrace my ancestors.
Under favor, the surest way of not disgracing them is to keep as long as you can out of their company. Look ye now, master, to go to them in such haste, with an ounce of lead in your brains, I should think might as well be let alone. Our ancestors are very good kinds of folks, but they are the last people I should choose to have a visiting acquaintance with.
But David, now you don't think there is such very, very, very great danger, hey? Odds life, people often fight without any mischief done.
By the mass, I think 'tis 10 to 1 against you. Wounds, here to meet some lion-headed fella, I warrant, with these damned double-barreled swords and cut-and-thrust pistols. Lord bless us! It makes me tremble to think it. Those be such desperate, bloody-minded weapons. I never could abide 'em. From a child, I never could fancy 'em. I suppose there ain't been so merciless a beast in the world as your loaded pistol.
Soames, I won't be afraid. Odds, fires, and fury. You shan't make me afraid. Here is the challenge, and I have sent it for my friend Jack Absolute to carry it for me.
Aye, in the name of mischief, let him be the messenger. For my part, I wouldn't lend a hand to it for the best horse in your stable. By the mass, it don't look like another letter. It is, as I may say, a designing and malicious-looking letter. And I warrant smells of gunpowder like a soldier's pouch. Oons, I wouldn't swear it mayn't go off.
Out, you poltroon! You haven't the valor of a grasshopper.
I say no more. 'Twill be sad news, to be sure, at Claude Hall. But I had done. How Phyllis will howl when she hears of it. My poor bitch. She little thinks what shooting her master's going after. And I warrant old Crop, who has carried your honor field and road these 10 years, will curse the hour he was born.
It won't do, David. I am determined to fight. So get along, you coward, while I'm in the mind.
Captain Absolute, sir.
Oh, show him up.
Heaven sends we all be alive this time tomorrow.
What's that? Don't provoke me, David.
Goodbye, master.
Oh, get along, you cowardly, dastardly, croaking raven.
What's the matter, Bob?
Oh, a vile, sheep-hearted blockhead. If I hadn't the valor of St. George and the Dragon to boot.
But what did you want with me, Bob?
There. Oh.
To Ensign Beverly.
Huh?
What's going on now?
Well, a challenge.
Indeed. Why, you won't fight him, will you, Bob?
Well, egad, I will, Jack. Oh, Sir Lucius has wrought me to it. He has left me full of rage, and I'll fight this evening that so much good passion mayn't be wasted.
But what have I to do with this?
Why, as I think you know something of this fellow, I want you to find him out for me and give him this mortal defiance.
Well, give it me and trust me he gets it.
Thank you, my dear friend. Oh, my dear Jack. But is it giving you a great deal of trouble?
Not in the least, I beg. You won't mention it. No trouble in the world, I assure you.
Oh, you are very kind. Oh, what it is to have a friend. Well, you couldn't be my second, could you, Jack?
Why, no, Bob. Not in this affair. It would not be quite so, proper.
Well, then I must get my friend Sir Lucius. I shall have your good wishes, however, Jack.
Whenever he meets you, relieve me.
Sir Anthony Absolute is below, inquiring for the captain.
I'll come instantly. Well, my little hero, success attend you.
Well, stay, Jack. If Beverly should ask you what kind of a man your friend Akers is, do tell him that I am a devil of a fellow. Will you, Jack?
To be sure I shall. I'll say you are a determined dog. Hey, Bob?
Do. And if that frightens him, egad, perhaps he mayn't come. So tell him I generally kill a man a week. Will you, Jack?
I will. I'll say you are called in the country, Fighting Bob.
Right. 'Tis all to prevent mischief, for I don't want to take his life if I can clear my honor.
No, that's very kind of you.
Why? You don't wish me to kill him, do you, Jack?
No, upon my soul I do not. But a devil of a fellow, hey?
True. But stay, Jack. You may add that you never saw me in such a rage before. A most devouring rage.
I will.
Remember, Jack, a determined dog.
Aye. Fighting Bob.
Why, thou perverse one, tell me what you can object to him. Isn't he a handsome man? Tell me that. A genteel man. A pretty figure of a man.
She little thinks whom she is praising. So is Beverly, ma'am.
No comparisons, miss, if you please. Comparisons don't become a young woman. No, Captain Absolute is indeed a fine gentleman.
I, the Captain Absolute, you have seen.
Then he is so well bred, so full of alacrity and adulation, and has so much to say for himself, in such good language too. His physiognomy is so grammatical, then his presence is so noble. I protest, when I saw him, I thought of what Hamlet says in the play, Hesperian curls, the front of Job himself, an eye like March to threaten and command, a station like Harry Mercury knew something about kissing on a hill. However, the similitude struck me directly.
How enraged she'll be presently when she discovers her mistake.
Sir Anthony and Captain Absolute are below, ma'am.
Show them up here. Now, Lydia, I insist on your behaving as becomes a young woman. Show your good breeding at least, though you have forgot your duty.
Madam, I have told you my resolution. I shall not only give him no encouragement, but I won't even speak to or look at him.
Here we are, Mrs. Malaprop, come to mitigate the frowns of unrelenting beauty. And difficulty enough I had to bring this fellow. I don't know what's the matter. But if I had not held him by force, he would have given me the slip.
You have infinite trouble, Sir Anthony, in the affair. I am ashamed for the cause. Lydia, rise, I beseech you. Pay your respects.
I hope, madam, that Miss Languish has reflected on the worth of this gentleman, and the regard due to her aunt's choice, and my alliance. Now, Jack, speak to her.
What the devil shall I do? You see, sir, she won't even look at me whilst you are here. I knew she wouldn't. I told you so. Let me entreat you, sir, to leave us together.
I wonder I hadn't heard my aunt exclaim yet. Sure she can't have looked at him. Perhaps the regimentals are alike, and she is something blind.
I say, sir, I won't stir a foot yet.
I'm sorry to say, Sir Anthony, that my affluence over my niece is very small. Turn around, Lydia. I blush for you.
May I not flatter myself that Miss Languish will assign what cause of dislike she may have to my son? Why don't you begin, Jack? Speak, you puppy, speak!
It is impossible, Sir Anthony. She can have any. She will not say she has. Answer, hussy. Why don't you answer?
Madam, I trust that a childish and hasty predilection will be no bar to Jack's happiness. Soon, Sarah, why don't you speak?
I think my lover seems as little inclined to conversation as myself. How strangely blind my aunt must be.
Faith, sir, I'm so confounded and so confused. I told you I should be so, sir. I knew it. The tremor of my passion entirely takes away my presence of mind.
But it don't take away your voice, fool, does it? Go up and speak to her directly.
Sir Anthony, shall we leave them together? Oh, you stubborn little vixen.
Not yet, ma'am, not yet. What the devil are you at? Unlock your jaw, sirrah, or I'll by heaven...
And then she may be too sullen to look round. I must disguise my voice. Will not Miss Languish lend an ear to the mild accents of true love? Will not...
What the devil ails the fellow? Why don't you speak out, not stand croaking like a frog in a quincy?
The excess of my awe and my modesty quite choke me.
Oh, your modesty again. I'll tell you what, Jack. If you don't speak out directly, and glibly too, I shall be in a rage. Mrs. Malaprop, I wish the lady would favour us with something more than a side front.
So all will out, I see. Be not surprised, my Lydia. Suppress all surprise at present.
Heavens, 'tis Beverley's voice. Sure he can't have imposed on Sir Anthony too. Is it possible? My Beverley! How can this be? My Beverley!
Ah, 'tis all over.
Beverley? The devil, Beverley? What can the girl mean? This is my son, Jack Absolute.
For shame, hussy, for shame! Your head runs on so, that fellow, that you have him always in your eyes. Beg Captain Absolute's pardon directly.
I see no Captain Absolute, but my loved Beverley.
Zoons, the girl's mad. Her brain's turned by reading.
On my conscience, I believe so. What do you mean by Beverley, hussy? You saw Captain Absolute before today. Here he is, your husband that shall be.
With all my soul, ma'am, when I refuse my Beverley.
Oh, she's as mad as Bedlam. Or has this fellow been playing us a rogue's trick? Come here, sirrah. Who the devil are you?
Faith, sir, I'm not quite clear myself, but I'll endeavour to recollect.
Are you my son or not? Answer your mother, you dog, if you won't for me.
Aye, sir. Who are you? Oh, mercy, I begin to suspect.
Ye powers of impudence, befriend me. Sir Anthony, most assuredly, I am your wife's son, and that I sincerely believe myself to be yours also, I hope my duty has always shown. Mrs. Malaprop, I am your most respectful admirer, and shall be proud to add affectionate nephew. I need not tell my Lydia that she sees her faithful Beverley, who, knowing the singular generosity of her temper, assumed that name and station, which has proved a test of the most disinterested love, which he now hopes to enjoy in a more elevated character.
So, there will be no elopement after all?
Upon my soul, Jack, thou art a very impudent fellow. To do you justice, I think I never saw a piece of more consummate assurance.
Oh, you flatter me, sir, you compliment. 'Tis my modesty, you know, sir, my modesty that has stood in my way.
Well, I am glad you are not the dull, insensible varlet you pretended to be, however. I'm glad you have made a fool of your father. You dog I am. So this was your penitence, your duty and obedience. I thought it was damned sudden. You never heard her names before, not you. What? What? The languishes of Worcester, eh? If you could please me in the affair, it was all you desired. Ah, you dissembling villain. What? She squints, don't she? A little red-haired girl, hey? Why, you hypocritical young rascal. I wonder you ain't ashamed to hold up your head.
It is with difficulty, sir. I am confused, very much confused, as you must perceive.
Oh, Lord, Sir Anthony, a new light breaks in upon me. Hey, how? What, Captain? Did you write the letters then? What, am I to thank you for the elegant compilation of an old weather-beaten she-dragon? Hey, oh, mercy! Was it you that reflected on my parts of speech?
Dear sir, my modesty will be overpowered at last if you don't assist me. I shall certainly not be able to stand it.
Come, Mrs. Malaprop. We must forget and forgive. Odds life, matters have taken so clever a turn all of a sudden, that I could find in my heart to be so good-humoured and so gallant. Eh, Mrs. Malaprop?
Well, Sir Anthony, since you desire it, we will not anticipate the past. So mind, young people, our retrospection will be all to the future.
Come, we must leave them together. Mrs. Malaprop, they long to fly into each other's arms, I warrant. Jack, isn't the cheek as I said, eh? And the eye, you rogue, and the lip, eh? Come, Mrs. Malaprop, we'll not disturb their tenderness. Theirs is the time of life for happiness. Youth's the season made for joy, eh? Odds life, I'm in such spirits. I don't know what I could not do. Permit me, ma'am.
Oh.
Toll-de-roll. Gad, I should like to have a little fooling myself. Toll-de-roll-de-roll.
So much thought bodes me no good. So grave, Lydia.
Sir.
So, egad, I thought as much. That damned monosyllable has froze me. What, Lydia? Now that we are happy in our friends' consent, as in our mutual vows.
Friends' consent indeed.
Come, we must lay aside some of our romance. A little wealth and comfort may be endured after all, and for your fortune, the lawyers shall make such settlements as—
Lawyers! I hate lawyers!
Nay, then, we will not wait for their lingering forms, but instantly procure the license.
License? I hate license!
Oh, my love, be not so unkind. Thus, let me entreat you.
What signifies kneeling, when you know I must have you?
Nay, madam, there shall be no constraint upon your inclinations, I promise you. If I have lost your heart, I resign the rest. Gad, I must see what a little spirit will do.
Then, sir, let me tell you, the interest you had there was acquired by a mean, unmanly imposition, and deserves the punishment of fraud. What? You have been treating me like a child, humoring my romance, and laughing, I suppose, at your success.
You wrong me, Lydia, you wrong me. Only here.
So while I fondly imagined we were deceiving my relations and flattered myself that I should outwit and incense them all, behold, my hopes are to be crushed at once by my aunt's consent and approbation, and I am myself the only dupe at last. But here, sir, here is the picture. Beverly's picture, which I have worn night and day in spite of threats and entreaties. There, sir. And be assured I throw the original from my heart as easily.
Nay, ma'am, we will not differ as to that. Here is Miss Lydia Languish. What a difference. Aye, there is the heavenly, assenting smile that first gave soul and spirit to my hopes. Those are the lips which sealed a vow as yet scarce dry in Cupid's calendar. And there, the half-resentful blush that it would have checked the ardor of my thanks. Well, all that's past, all over indeed. There, madam, in beauty that copy is not equal to you, but in my mind its merit over the original, in being still the same, is such that I cannot find in my heart to part with it.
'Tis your own doing, sir. I suppose you are perfectly satisfied.
Oh, most certainly, sure now. This is much better than being in love. There's some spirit in this. What signifies breaking some scores of solemn promises? All that's of no consequence, you know. To be sure, people will say, that miss don't know her own mind, but never mind that. Or perhaps they may be ill-natured enough to hint that the gentleman grew tired of the lady and forsook her. But don't let that fret you.
There is no bearing his insolence.
Come, we must interrupt your billing and cooing a while.
This is worse than your treachery and deceit, you base ingrate.
What the devil's the matter now? Zoons! Mrs. Malaprop, this is the oddest billing and cooing I ever heard. What the deuce is the meaning of it? I am quite astonished.
Ask the lady.
Oh, mercy. I am quite analysed for my part. Why, Lydia, what is the reason of this?
Ask the gentleman, ma'am.
Zoons! I shall be in a frenzy. Why, Jack, you are not come out to be anyone else, are you?
Aye, sir. There's no more trick, is there? You're not like Cerberus, 3 gentlemen at once, are you?
You'll not let me speak. I say the lady can account for this much, much better than I can.
Ma'am, you once commanded me to never think of Beverly again. There is the man. I now obey you, for from this moment I renounce him forever.
Oh, mercy and miracles! What a turn here is! Why, sure, Captain, you haven't behaved disrespectfully to my niece.
Now I see it. Now I see it. You have been too lively, Jack.
Nay, sir, upon my word.
No lying, Jack. I'm sure 'twas so.
Oh, Lord. Sir Anthony, oh, fie, Captain.
On my soul, ma'am.
Come, no excuses, Jack. Why, your father, you rogue, was so before you. The blood of the absolutes was always impatient. Poor little Lydia. Why, you frightened her, you dog. You have.
All that's good, sir.
Zoons! Say no more, I tell you. Mrs. Malaprop shall make your peace. You must make his peace, Mrs. Malaprop. You must tell her 'tis Jack's way. Tell her 'tis all our ways. It runs in the blood of our family. Come away, Jack. Mrs. Malaprop, a young villain.
Oh, Sir Anthony! Oh, fie, Captain!
I wonder where this Captain Absolute hides himself. Upon my conscience, these officers are always in one's way in love affairs. I remember I might have married Lady Dorothy Carmine if it had not been for a little rogue of a major who ran away with her before she could get a look at me. And I wonder, too, what is it that the ladies can see in them to be so fond of them? Unless it be a touch of the old serpent in them that makes the little creatures be caught like vipers with a bit of red cloth. Huh. Isn't this the captain coming? Faith it is. There's a probability of succeeding about that fellow that is mighty provoking. Who the devil is he talking to?
To what fine purpose have I been plotting? A noble reward for all my schemes. 'Pon my soul, I did not think her romance could have made her so damned absurd. 'Sdeath! I was never in a worse humor in my life. I could cut my own throat, or any other person's, with the greatest pleasure in the world.
Oh, Faith, I'm in the luck of it. I could never have found him in a sweeter temper for my purpose. To be sure, I'm just come in the nick. Now, to enter into conversation with him, and so quarrel genteelly. With regard to that matter, Captain, I must beg leave to differ in opinion with you.
Upon my word, then, you must be a very subtle disputant, because, sir, I happened just then to be giving no opinion at all.
That's no reason. For give me leave to tell you, a man may think an untruth as well as speak one.
Very true, sir, but if a man never utters his thoughts, I should think they might stand a chance of escaping controversy.
Then, sir, you differ in opinion with me, which amounts to the same thing.
Harkee, Sir Lucius, if I had not known before you to be a gentleman, upon my soul, I should not have discovered it at this interview. For what you can drive at, unless you mean to quarrel with me, I cannot conceive.
I humbly thank you, sir, for the quickness of your apprehension. You have named the very thing I would be at.
Very well, sir. I shall certainly not balk your inclinations, but I should be glad you would please to explain your motives.
Pray, sir, be easy. The quarrel is a very pretty quarrel as it stands. We should only spoil it by trying to explain it. However, your memory is very short, or you could not have forgot an affront you passed on me within this week. So, no more? But name your time and place.
Well, sir, since you are so bent on it, the sooner the better. Let it be this evening here, by the spring gardens. We shall scarcely be interrupted.
Faith, that same interruption in affairs of this nature shows very great ill-breeding. I don't know what's the reason, but in England, if a thing of this kind gets wind, people make such a pother that a gentleman cannot quarrel in peace and quietness. However, if it's the same to you, Captain, I should take it as a particular kindness if you'd let us meet in Kingsmead Fields, as a little business will call me there about 6 o'clock, and I may dispatch both matters at once.
'Tis the same to me exactly. Little after 6, then. We will discuss this matter more seriously.
If you please, sir. There will be very pretty small sword light, though it won't do for a long shot. So, there's that matter settled, and my mind's at ease.
Well met. I was going to speak with Falkland.
I'm here.
Falkland! All the demons of spite and disappointment have conspired against me. I'm so vexed that if I had not the prospect of a resource in being knocked to the head by and by, I should scarce have spirits to tell you the cause.
What can you mean? Has Lydia changed her mind? I should have thought her duty and inclination would now have pointed to the same object.
Aye, just as the eyes do of a person who squints when her love eye was fixed on me, t'other, her eye of duty, was finely obliqued. But then duty bid her point that the same way, off t'other turned on a swivel and secured its retreat with a frown.
But what's the resource that you...
Oh, to wind up the whole, a good-natured Irishman here. Begged lave to have the pleasure of cutting my throat, and I mean to indulge him, that's all.
Prithee, be serious.
'Tis fact upon my soul. Sir Lucius O'Trigger, you know him by sight, for some affront, which I'm sure I never intended, has obliged to meet him this evening at 6 o'clock. 'Tis on that account I wish to see you. You must go with me.
Nay, there must be some mistake, sure. Sir Lucius shall explain himself, and I dare say matters may be accommodated. But this evening, did you say? I wish it had been any other time.
Why, there will be light enough. There will, as Sir Lucius say, be very pretty small sard light, though it will not do for a long shot. Confound his long shots.
But I am myself a good deal ruffled by a difference I have had with Julia. My vile, tormenting temper has made me treat her so cruelly that I shall not be myself till we are reconciled.
My heavens, Falkland, you don't deserve her.
Oh, Jack, this is from Julia. I dread to open it. I fear it may be to take a last leave, perhaps to bid me return her letters and restore... Oh, how I suffer from my folly.
Here, let me see it. Aye, a final sentence indeed. 'Tis all over with you, Faith.
Nay, Jack, don't keep me in suspense.
Here then. As I am convinced that my dear Falkland's own reflections have already upbraided him for his last unkindness to me, I will not add a word on the subject. I wish to speak with you as soon as possible. Yours ever and truly, Julia. There's stubbornness and resentment for you. Why, man, you don't even seem one whit the happier at this.
Oh, yes, I am, but...
Confound your buts! You never hear anything that would make another man bless himself, but you immediately damn it with a but.
Now, Jack, as you are my friend, own honestly, don't you think there is something forward, something indelicate in this haste to forgive? Women should never sue for reconciliation. That should always come from us. They should retain their coldness till wooed to kindness, and their pardon, like their love, should not unsought be won.
I have not patience to listen to you. Thou art incorrigible, so say no more on this subject. I must go settle a few matters. Let me see you before 6, remember, at my lodgings. A poor industrious devil like me, who have toiled and drudged and plotted to gain my ends, and am at last disappointed by other people's follies, may in pity be allowed to swear and grumble a little, but a captious skeptic in love, a slave to fretfulness and whim, who has no difficulties, but of his own creating, is a subject more fit for ridicule than compassion.
I feel his reproaches, yet I would not change this too exquisite nicety for the gross content with which he tramples on the thorns of love. His engaging me in this duel has started an idea in my head which I will instantly pursue. I'll use it as the touchstone of Julia's sincerity and disinterestedness. If her love prove pure and sterling ore, my name will rest on it with honor, and once I've stamped in there, I lay aside my doubts forever. But if the dross of selfishness, the alloy of pride predominate, 'twill be best to leave her as a toy for some less cautious fool to sigh for.
how this message has alarmed me. What dreadful accident can he mean? Why such charge to be alone? Oh, Falkland, how many unhappy moments, how many tears have you cost me? What means this? Why this caution, Falkland?
I'm come
Falkland?
to take a long farewell.
Heavens, what do you mean?
You see before you a wretch whose life is forfeited. Nay, start not. The infirmity of my temper has drawn all this misery on me. I left you fretful and passionate. An untoward accident drew me into a quarrel. The event is that I must fly this kingdom instantly. Oh, Julia, had I been so fortunate as to have called you mine entirely before this mischance had fallen on me, I should not so deeply dread my banishment.
My soul is oppressed with sorrow at the nature of your misfortune. Had these adverse circumstances arrived from a less fatal cause, I should have felt strong comfort in the thought that I could now chase from your bosom every doubt of warm sincerity of my love. My heart has long known no other guardian. I now entrust my person to your honor. We will fly together. When safe from pursuit, my father's will may be fulfilled, and I receive a legal claim to be the partner of your sorrows and tenderest comforts. Then, on the bosom of your wedding Julia, you may lull your keen regret to slumbering, while virtuous love with a cherub's hand shall smooth the brow of upbraiding thought and pluck the thorn of compunction.
Oh, Julia, I am bankrupt in gratitude, but the time is so pressing it calls on you for so hasty a resolution. Would you not wish some hours to weigh the advantages you forego and what little compensation poor Falcon can make you besides his solitary love?
I asked not a moment, no, Falkland. I have loved you for yourself, and if I now more than ever prize that solemn engagement which so long has pledged us each to each other, it is because I leave no room for hard aspirations on my fame, and put the seal of duty to an act of love. But let us not linger. Perhaps this delay.
It will be better I should not venture out again till dark. Yet am I grieved to think what numberless distresses will press heavy on your gentle disposition.
Perhaps your fortune may be forfeited by this unhappy act. I know not whether 'tis so, but sure that alone can never make us unhappy. The little I have will be sufficient to support us, and exile should never be splendid.
Aye, but in such an abject state of life, my wounded pride perhaps may increase the natural fretfulness of my temper, till I become a rude, morose companion, beyond your patience to endure. Perhaps the recollection of a deed my conscience cannot justify may haunt me in such gloomy and unsocial fits that I shall hate the tenderness that would relieve me, break from your arms, and quarrel with your fondness.
If your thoughts should assume so unhappy a bent, you will the more want some mild and affectionate spirit to watch over and console you, one who, by bearing your infirmities with gentleness and resignation, may teach you so to bear the evils of your fortune.
Julia, I have proved you to the quick, and with this useless device I throw away all my doubts. How shall I plead to be forgiven this last unworthy effect of my restless, unsatisfied disposition?
Has no such disaster happened as you related?
I am ashamed to own that it was pretended, yet in pity, Julia, do not kill me with resenting a fault which never can be repeated. But sealing this once my pardon, let me tomorrow, in the face of heaven, receive my future guide and monitress, and expiate my past folly by years of tender adoration.
Hold, Falkland, that you are free from a crime which I before feared to name. Heavens know how sincere I rejoice. These are tears of thankfulness for that. But that your cruel doubt should have urged you to an imposition that has wrung my heart gives me not a pang more keen than I can express.
By heavens, Julia!
Yet hear me. My father loved you, Falkland, and you preserved that life that tender parents give me. In his presence, I pledged my hand, joyfully pledged it, where before I had given my heart. When soon after I lost that parent, it seemed to me that Providence had in Falkland showed me whither to transfer without a pause my grateful duty as well as my affection. Hence, I have been content to bear what pride and delicacy would have forbid me from another. I will not upbraid you by repeating how you have trifled with my sincerity.
I confess it all, yet here.
After such a year of trial, I might have flattered myself that I should not have been insulted with another probation of my sincerity. As cruel and unnecessary, I now see that it is not in your nature to be content or confident in love. With this conviction, I never will be yours. While I had hoped that my persevering attention and unreproaching kindness might in time reform your temper, I should have been happy to have gained a dearer influence over you. But I will not furnish you with a licensed power too keen, alive, incorrigible fault at the expense of one who would have followed you, who would never contend with you.
Nay, but Julia, by my soul and honor, if after this...
But one more word, as my faith has been given to you, I never will barter with another. I shall pray for your happiness with the truest sincerity, and the dearest blessings I can ask of heaven to send you will be the charm you from that unhappy temper which alone has prevented the performance of our solemn engagement. Our only request of you is that you will yourself reflect upon your infirmities, and when your number is up to many true delights it has deprived you of, let it not be your least regret that it lost you the love of one who would have followed you in beggary through the world.
She's gone forever. There was an awful resolution in her manner that riveted me to my place. Oh, fool, dolt. Cursed as I am with more imperfections than my fellow wretches, kind fortune sent a heaven-gifted cherub to my aid, and like a ruffian I have driven her from my side. I must now haste to my appointment. Well, my mind is tuned for such a scene. I shall wish only to become a principal in it and reverse the tale my cursed folly put upon forging here. Oh, love, tormentor, fiend, whose influence, like the moon, acting on men of dull souls, makes idiots of them, but meeting subtler spirits betrays their course and urges sensibility to madness.
Hi-ho! Though he has used me so, this fellow runs strangely in my head. I believe one lecture from my grave cousin will make me recall him. Oh, Julia, I am come to you with such an appetite for consolation. Lud, child, what's the matter with you? You've been crying. I'll be hanged if that Falkland has not been tormenting you.
You mistake the cause of my uneasiness. Something has flurried me a little. Nothing that you can guess at. I will not accuse Falkland to a sister.
Whatever vexations you may have, I can assure you mine surpass them. You know who Beverly proves to be.
I will now own to you, Lydia, that Mr. Falkland had informed me of the whole affair. Had young Absolute been the person you took him for, I should not have accepted your confidence on the subject without a serious endeavor to counteract your caprice.
So then I see I've been deceived by everyone. But I don't care. I'll never have him.
Oh, nay, Lydia.
Why is it not provoking? When I thought we were coming to the prettiest distress imaginable, to find myself made a mere Smithfield bargain of at last. There had I projected one of the most sentimental elopements, so becoming a disguise, so amiable a ladder of ropes, conscious moon, 4 horses, Scotch parson, with such surprise to Mrs. Malaprop, and such paragraphs in the newspapers. Oh, I shall die with disappointment.
I don't wonder at it.
Now, sad reverse. What have I to expect but after a deal of flimsy preparation with a bishop's license and my aunt's blessing to go simpering up to the altar, or perhaps be cried 3 times in a country church, and have an unmannerly fat clerk ask for the consent of every butcher in the parish to join John Absolute and Lydia Languish, spinster. Oh, that I should live to hear myself called spinster.
Melancholy indeed.
How mortifying to remember the dear, delicious shifts I used to be put to gain half a minute's conversation with this fellow. How often have I stole forth in the coldest night in January and found him in the garden, stuck like a dripping statue. There would he kneel to me in the snow and sneeze and cough so pathetically, he shivering with cold and I with apprehension. And while the freezing blast numbed our joints, how warmly would he press me to pity his flame and glow with mutual ardour. Oh, Julia, that was something like being in love.
If I were in spirit, Lydia, I should chide you only by laughing heartily at you. But it suits more the situation of my mind at present, earnestly to entreat you not to let a man who loves you with sincerity suffer that unhappiness from your caprice, which I know too well caprice can inflict.
Lord, what has brought my aunt here?
Lord, so, here's fine work, here's fine suicide, parricide, and simulation going on in the fields, and Sir Anthony not to be found to prevent the antistrophe.
Oh, for heaven's sake, madam, what's the meaning of this?
The gentleman can tell you. 'Twas he enveloped the affair to me.
Do, sir, will you inform us?
Mum, I should own myself very deficient in every requisite that forms the men and breeding. If I delayed a moment to give all the information in my power to a lady so deeply interested in the affair as you are.
But quick, sir.
True, Mum, as you say, one should be quick in divulging matters of this nature. For should we be tedious, perhaps while we are flourishing on the subject, 2 or 3 lives may be lost.
Patience. Do, ma'am, for heaven's sake, tell us what is the matter.
Why, murder's the matter, slaughter's the matter, killing's the matter, but he can tell you the perpendiculars.
Then prithee, sir, be brief.
Why then, Mum, as to murder, I cannot take upon me to say, and as to slaughter or manslaughter, that will be the jury's to find it.
But who, sir, who are engaged in this?
Faith, Mum, one is a young gentleman whom I should be very sorry anything was to happen to. A very pretty behaved gentleman. We have lived much together and always on terms.
But who is this? Who?
My master, Mum. My master. I speak of my master.
Heavens, what, Captain Absolute?
Oh, to be sure, you are frightened now.
But who are with him, sir?
As to the rest, Mum, this gentleman can inform you better than I.
Speak, friend.
Look ye, my lady, by the mass, there's mischief going on. Folks don't used to meet for amusements with firearms, fire locks, fire engines, fire screens, fire office, and the devil knows what other crackers beside. This, my lady, I say, has an angry savour.
But who is there beside Captain Absolute, friend?
My poor master, under favour for mentioning him first. You know me, my lady. I am David, and my master, of course, is, or was, Squire Acres. Then comes Squire Falkland.
No, Mom. Let us instantly endeavour to prevent mischief.
Oh, fie! It would be very inelegant in us. We should only participate things.
Ah, do, Mrs. Aunt, save a few lives. They are desperately given, believe me. Above all, there is that bloodthirsty Philistine Sir Lucius O'Trigger.
Sir Lucius O'Trigger? Oh, mercy! Have they drawn poor dear Sir Lucius into the scrape? Oh, why, how you stand, girl! You have no more feeling than one of the Derbyshire petrifications.
What are we to do, madam?
Why, fly, with the utmost felicity, to be sure, to prevent mischief. Here, friend, can you show us the place?
Why, if you please, Mum, I will conduct you. David, do you look for Sir Anthony?
Come, girls, this gentleman will exhort us. Come, sir, your envoy. Lead the way and we'll proceed.
Not a step before the ladies for the world.
You're sure you know the spot?
I think I can find it, Mum. And one good thing is, we shall hear the report of the pistols as we draw near. So we can't well miss them, Mum. Never fear, never fear.
Stop him! Stop him! Murder! Thief! Fire! Stop! Fire!
Fire?
Stop! Fire! Oh, Sir Anthony! Sir Anthony! Call! Call!
Murder?
Make him stop!
Where?
Loons, he's out of sight! And I'm out of breath. For my part. Oh, Sir Anthony, why didn't you stop him? Why didn't you stop him?
Zoons, the fellow's mad. Stop whom? Stop Jack?
Aye, the captain, sir. There's murder and slaughter.
Murder?
Aye, please, Sir Anthony, there's all kinds of murder, all sorts of slaughter to be seen in the fields. There's fighting going on. Sir, bloody sword and gunfighting.
Who are going to fight, Dunce?
Everybody that I know of, Sir Anthony. Everybody is going to fight my poor master, Sir Lucius O'Trigger, your son, the captain.
Oh, the dog. I see his tricks. Do you know the place?
Kingsmead Fields.
Do you know the way?
Not an inch. But I'll call the mayor, aldermen, constables, churchwardens, and beadles. We can't be too many to part them.
Come along. Give me your shoulder. We'll get assistance as we go. The lying villain. Well, I shall be in a frenzy. So, this was his history of his trinkets. I'll bobble him.
By my valour, then, Sir Lucius, 40 yards is a good distance. Odds, levels, and names. I say it is a good distance.
Is it for muskets or small field pieces? Oh, my conscience, Mr. Akers, you must leave these things to me. Stay now. I'll show you. There now. That is a very pretty distance. A pretty gentleman's distance.
Zounds! Well, we might as well fight the sentry box. I tell you, Sir Lucius, the farther he is off, the cooler I shall take my aim.
Faith, and I suppose you would aim at him best of all if he was out of sight.
Oh, no, Sir Lucius. But I should think that 40 or 38 yards would be...
Nonsense. 3 or 4 feet between the mouths of your pistols is as good as a mile.
It's bullets, no. Oh, there is no valour. There's no merit in killing him so near. Oh, my dear Sir Lucius. Well, let me bring him down at a long shot. A long shot, Sir Lucius, if you love me.
Well, the gentleman's friend and I must settle that. But tell me now, Mr. Akers, in case of an accident, is there any little will or commission I could execute for you?
I am much obliged to you, Sir Lucius. But I don't understand.
But you may think there's no being shot at without a little risk. If an unlucky bullet should carry a quietus with it, I say it'll be no time then to be bothering you about family matters.
A quietus?
For instance now, if that should be the case, would you choose to be pickled and sent home, or would it be the same to you to lie here in the Abbey? I'm told there's very snug lying in the Abbey.
Pickled? Snug lying in the Abbey? Odds tremors. Sir Lucius, don't talk so.
I suppose, Mr. Akers, you were never engaged in an affair of this kind before?
No, Sir Lucius, never before.
Ah, that's a pity. There's nothing like being used to a thing. Pray now, how would you receive the gentleman's shot?
Odds fires, I've practiced that. Ah, there, Sir Lucius, there. A side front, eh? I'll make myself small enough. I'll stand edgeways.
No, you're quite out. For if you stand so when I take my aim...
Sir Lucius, are you sure it is not cocked?
Never fear.
Oh, but you don't know. It may go off of its own head.
Be easy. Well, now, if I hit you in the body, my bullet has a double chance. For if it misses a vital part on your right side, it'll be very hard if it don't succeed on the left.
A vital part?
But there, fix yourself so. Let him see the broad side of your full front. There now, a ball or two may pass clean through your body and never do any harm at all.
Clean through me? A ball or two clean through me?
Aye, maybe. And it is much the genteelest attitude into the bargain.
Looky, Sir Lucius, I'd as lief be shot in an awkward position as a genteel one. By my valor, I'll stand edgeways.
So they can't mean to disappoint us. Ah, no, Faith, I think I see them coming.
Hey, what, coming?
Hey, who are those yonder getting over the stile?
There are two of them indeed. Well, let them come. Hey, Sir Lucius, we won't run.
Run!
Oh, no, I say, we won't run by my valor.
The devil's the matter with you?
Well, nothing, my dear friend Sir Lucius, but I don't feel quite so bold somehow as I did.
Oh, fie, consider your honor.
Well, I true, my honor. Do, Sir Lucius, edge in a word or two every now and then about my honor.
Well, here, they're coming.
Sir Lucius, oh, well, if it weren't for you, I should almost think I was afraid. Oh, if my valor should leave me, her valor will come and go.
Pray, keep it fast.
Sir Lucius, I doubt it is going. Yes, my valor is certainly going. It is sneaking off. I feel it oozing out as if it were the palms of my hands.
Your honor, your honor. Here they are.
Oh, mercy! Now that I was safe at Claude Hall, or could be shot before I was aware of it.
Gentlemen, your most obedient. What? Captain Absolute. So I suppose, sir, you are come here, just like myself, to do a kind office for a friend first, and then to proceed with business on your own account.
What, Jack? My dear Jack, oh, my dear friend.
Beverly's at hand.
Well, Mr. Akers, I don't blame your saluting the gentleman civilly. So, Mr. Beverly, if you'll choose your weapons, the captain and I will measure the ground.
My weapons, sir?
What's life? Sir Lucius, I'm not going to fight Mr. Falkland, but these are my particular friends.
What? Sir, did you not come here to fight Mr. Akers?
Not I, upon my word, sir.
Oh, no, that's mighty provoking. But I hope, Mr. Falkland, as there are three of us come on purpose for the game, you won't be so cantankerous as to spoil the party by sitting out.
Oh, pray, Falkland, fight to oblige Sir Lucius.
Nay, if Mr. Akers is so bent on the matter.
No, Mr. Falkland, I'll bear my disappointment like a Christian. But look-ye, Sir Lucius, there's no occasion at all for me to fight. And if it's the same with you, I just let it alone.
Observe me, Mr. Akers. I must not be trifled with. You have certainly challenged somebody, and you came here to fight him. Now, if that gentleman is willing to represent him, I can't see for my soul why it isn't just the same thing.
Oh, why no, Sir Lucius. I tell you, 'tis one Beverley I've challenged. Well, a fellow, you see, that dare not show his face. Oh, if he were here, I'd give him up his pretensions directly.
Hold, Bob. Let me set you right. There is no such man as Beverley in the case. The person who assumed that name is before you. And as his pretensions are the same in both characters, he is ready to support them in whatever way you please.
Well, this is lucky. Now you have an opportunity
What?
to...
Oh, quarrel with my dear friend, Jack Absolute. Not if there were 50 Beverleys. Soon, Sir Lucius, you would not have me so unnatural.
On my conscience, Mr. Akers, your valor has oozed away with a vengeance.
Well, not in the least. Odds backs and abettors. I'll be your second with all my heart, and if you should get a quietus, well, you may command me entirely. I'll get you a snug lying in the abbey here. Well, or pickle you and send you over to Blunderbuss Hall or anything of the kind with the greatest pleasure.
You are little better than a coward.
Oh, mine gentleman, He calls me a coward. Coward was the word by my valor.
Well, sir?
Well, looky, Sir Lucius, 'tisn't I mind the word coward. Well, coward may be said in joke. But if you had called me a poltroon, odds daggers and balls...
Well, sir?
I should have thought you a very ill-bred man.
You're beneath my notice.
Nay, Sir Lucius, you can't have a better second than my friend Akers. He is a most determined dog, called in the country Fighting Bob. He generally kills a man a week, don't you, Bob?
Aye, at home.
Well then, Captain, 'tis we must begin, so come out, my little counsellor, and ask the gentleman whether he will resign the lady without forcing you to proceed against him.
Come then, sir. Since you won't let it be an amicable suit, here's my reply.
Oh, knock 'em all down, sweet Sir Anthony. Knock down my master in particular, and bind his hands over to their good behaviour.
Put up, Jack, put up, or I shall be in a frenzy. How came you in a duel, sir?
Faith, sir, that gentleman can tell you better than I. 'Twas he called on me, and you know, sir, I serve his majesty.
Here's a pretty fellow. I catch him going to cut a man's throat, and he tells me he serves his majesty. Zounds, sirrah! Then how durst you draw the king's sword against one of his subjects?
Sir, I tell you, that gentleman called me out without explaining his reasons.
Gad, sir! How came you to call my son out without explaining your reasons?
Son, sir, insulted me in a manner which my honour could not brook.
Zounds, Jack! How durst you insult the gentleman in a manner which his honour could not brook?
Come, let's have no honour before ladies. Captain Absolute, come here. How could you intimidate us so? Here's Lydia has been terrified to death for you.
For fear I should be killed or escape, ma'am.
Nay, no delusions to the past. Lydia is convinced. Speak, child.
With your leave, ma'am, I must put in a word here. I believe I could interpret the lady's silence. Now mark me.
What is it you mean, sir?
Come, Delia. We must be serious now. This is no time for trifling.
'Tis true, sir, and your reproof bids me offer this gentleman my hand and solicit the return of his affections.
Oh, my little angel, say you so? Sir Lucius, I perceive there must be some mistake here. And I am not ashamed to atone for an inadvertency. I ask your pardon, but for this lady, I will support my claim against any man whatever.
Well said, Jack, and I stand by you, my boy.
Mind, I give up all my claims. I make no pretensions to anything in the world. Well, and if I can't get a wife without fighting for her, by my valor, I'll live a bachelor.
Captain, give me your hand. An affront handsomely acknowledged becomes an obligation. And as for the lady, if she chooses to deny her own handwriting here...
Oh, he will dissolve my mystery. Sir Lucius, perhaps there's some mistake. Perhaps I can illuminate the...
Hey, old gentlewoman, don't interfere where you have no business.
Oh.
Miss Languish, are you my Delia or not?
Indeed, Sir Lucius, I am not.
Sir Lucius O'Trigger, ungrateful as you are, I own the soft impeachment. Pardon my blushes. I am Delia.
You, Delia. Be easy.
Oh, thou barbarous Van Dyke, those letters are mine. When you are more sensible of my benignity, perhaps I may be brought to encourage your addresses.
Mrs. Malaprop, I am extremely sensible of your condescension, and whether it is you or Lucy have put this trick on me, I am equally beholden to you. And to show you I'm not ungrateful, Captain Absolute, since you have taken that lady from me, I'll give you my Delia into the bargain.
I am much obliged to you, Sir Lucius, but here's my friend, Fighting Bob, unprovided for.
Little Valor, here, will you make your fortune?
Odds wrinkles, no. But give me your hand, Sir Lucius. Forget and forgive. But if I ever give you a chance of pickling me again, say Bob Acres is a dunce, that's all.
Come, Mrs. Malaprop, don't be cast down. You are in your bloom yet.
Oh, Sir Anthony, all men are barbarians.
He seems dejected and unhappy, not sullen. There was some foundation. Have a foretell, he told me. Oh, woman, how true should your judgment when your resolution is so weak?
Julia, how can I sue for what I so little deserve? I dare not presume, yet hope is the child of penitence.
No, Falkland, you have not been more faulty in your unkind treatment of me than I am now in wanting inclination to resent it, as my heart honestly bids me place my weakness to account of love. I should be ungenerous not to admit the same plea for yours.
Now I shall be blessed indeed.
So what's going on here? Well, so you've been quarreling too, I warrant. Oh, come, Julia. I never interfered before, but let me have a hand in the matter at last. All the faults I've ever seen in my friend Falkland seem to proceed from what he calls the delicacy and the warmth of his affection for you. There! Marry him directly, Julia. You'll find he'll mend surprisingly.
Come now, I hope there's no dissatisfied person but what is content. For as I have been disappointed myself, it will be very hard if I have not the satisfaction of seeing other people succeed better.
Oh, you are right, Sir Lucius. So, Jack, I wish you joy. Mr. Falkland, the same. Ladies, come now. To show you I'm neither vexed nor angry, odds chambers and pipes. I'll order the fiddlers in half an hour to the new rooms, and I insist on you all meeting me there.
Gad, sir, I like your spirit. and at night we single lads will drink a health to the young couples, and a husband to Mrs. Malaprop.
Our partners are stolen from us, Jack. I hope to be congratulated by each other. Yours for having checked in time the errors of an ill-directed imagination, which might have betrayed an innocent heart, and mine for having, by her gentleness and candor, reformed the unhappy temper of one who by it made wretched whom he loved most, and tortured the heart he ought to have adored.
Well, Jack, we have both tasted the bitters as well as the sweets of love, with this difference only, that you always prepared the bitter cup for yourself, while I
Was always obliged to me for it, hey, Mr. Modesty? But come no more of that. Our happiness is now as unalloyed as general.
Then let us study to preserve it so. And while hope pictures us to a flattering scene of future bliss, let us in its pencil those colors that are too bright to be lasting. When hearts deserving happiness would unite their fortune, virtue would crown them with an unfading garland of modest, hurtless flowers. By ill-judging passion will force the gaudier rose into the wreath whose thorns offend them when its leaves are dropped.